After a week-long trip and a day to lick their wounds yesterday, the Mets are back in town, back in the shadow of the apple. The Mets getting ready for 3 games before heading right back on the road. And, well, there's one new Met in town. Say hello to Vinny Rotino. Yes, Vinny. At Citi Field in New York, the New York Mets play the Arizona Diamondbacks. Friday Night Baseball on SNY is brought to you by Time Warner Cable. And a pleasant good evening, everybody, and welcome to Citi Field. Gary Cohen, Ron Darling, Keith Hernandez with you tonight as the Mets open a 3-game weekend series against the Arizona Diamondbacks. You know, for a Mets team from which not much was expected this year, Met fans can take heart in what Arizona accomplished last year, going from 69 wins the year before to 94 last year and a National League West title.
Well, they got their manager down there, Kurt Gibson, who was manager of the year, and really this team kind of took on the personality of Kurt, having competed against Kurt, of course, when he was with the Dodgers. They're a team that steals bases. They're a rags to riches story. And really, if you look at this lineup, you know, they're 13-13 right now. They're really a no-name lineup. And really the only guy that comes to mind, I would think, would be Justin Upton, their outfielder, who I think is just a fabulous talent. And off to a slow start this year. There's his numbers last year, the 31 home runs. Only hitting .247 with 3 home runs and 8 RBI. He's looking to get hot, but he's really one of the true stars of this team. So the Mets can look to this ball club with all their young homegrown, and a lot of people don't know who they are. Well, maybe that's in the future for the Metsies.
Mets come off a 2-4 road trip, and one of the games they won on that trip was pitched by Dylan G., who was just spectacular in Colorado.
You know, he's only really had one mediocre start when he was handled by the San Francisco Giants when he gave up 12 hits in that start. But like you said, Gary, he was outstanding. To pitch 7 strong innings in Colorado is a real test, and one of the great games pitched on that road trip. And he's going up against Wade Miley tonight, the young left-hander for the Arizona Diamondbacks, the National League Pitcher of the Month. He's 3-0 so far, and almost a mirror image of Dylan G. Changeup is probably his best pitch.
So is G for the Mets and Miley for the Diamondbacks as the Mets open a brief stop back in New York. First of 3 with the Diamondbacks coming up tonight. All the action on SNY. All the things you love better. TV, internet, and home phone from Time Warner Cable. By Geico. By Cholula Hot Sauce, the flavorful hot sauce with the iconic wooden cap. By Meadowlands Racetrack. Get to the racetrack tomorrow for an action-packed Kentucky Derby party featuring live racing, T-shirt giveaways, and Cinco de Mayo drink specials. Gates open at 9:30 a.m. And by Citi, proud sponsor of the New York Mets. Hitting the road, take the Mets with you this season. Subscribe to MLB.tv today to see every Mets out-of-market game live online and on your favorite devices in HD quality. Visit Mets.com to order and get more details. MLB.tv, baseball everywhere. As you drive around the majors, presented by Cadillac, and horrible news about Mariano Rivera, who says he will try and pitch next year after tearing his ACL yesterday while shagging fly balls in Kansas City. The Dodgers have signed the former Angel Bobby Abreu. Dodgers sitting in first place in the National League West. Abreu will be a backup. And Paul Maholm pitched well, but probably of more significance, Rafael Dolis got the save for the Cubs today, supplanting Carlos Marmol, who has been just awful and lost his closer's job for Dale Swaim in Chicago. Dylan G making his way in as the Mets get set to face the Diamondbacks. First pitch coming right up. Rocks ready for real business. Let's check out your forward starting lineup for the Arizona Diamondbacks. Willie Bloomquist continues to fill in for the injured Stephen Drew, who might be back by June after that horrendous ankle injury he suffered last year. Justin Upton's been battling a sore thumb, but he appears to be fully healthy now. Jason Kubel's been terrific, coming over as a free agent from Minnesota. Kirk Gibson, last year's National League Manager of the Year, and his team is .500 coming into this game today.
Well, here are Dylan G's stats presented by Caesars Atlantic City. You can see his numbers so far this year. That high ERA really from one of his starts against San Francisco. 13 wins last year, 17-10 in his career.
And we'll take a look at the Metsy Lexus defense. Well, they made a lot of errors of late, and it's showing right there. Torres hopefully will come and plug the defense up in center field with his return.
Don Baylor, former Mets coach and one of the members of the most successful coaching staff in Major League history.
1979 MVP with the Angels. You mentioned him in the broadcast in Houston, saying he was hit, 267 times in his career.
He stood right on top of the plate.
Only Craig Biggio in the modern era has been hit more often than Don Baylor was.
A lot of people don't know that. So you see the coaching stats. That's EY Eric Young.
We saw his son in Colorado.
It's a guy who could not get out. I think he had 5 hits off in his career, 4 of them home runs.
Matt Williams. He was a pretty good home run hitter.
Do you know that Don Baylor stole 52 bases one year?
In the big leagues? Really?
You can look that up in your Funkin' Wagnall.
Does Funkin' Wagnalls they still exist?
Yeah, it's an app.
Willie Bloomquist leads things off against Dylan G, who's coming off a win in Colorado his last time out on Saturday. First pitch of the night. It's a fastball in for a strike, and we're underway at Citi Field. A brief stop home for the Mets between week-long road trips. They'll be going to Philadelphia and Miami starting on Monday. Bloomquist hitting at .234. Former Mariner, now 34 years old, and just trying to hold the fort until Stephen Drew is ready to go.
Yeah, you mentioned, Keith, they're 13-13. It's Gerardo Parra on deck. They're trying to tread water until they get their good players back.
A good curveball from G, and he's ahead on Bloomquist 1-2. Well, they not only have Drew on the sidelines, that's been the case since last July, but Chris Young, who got off to a great start this year, ran into an outfield wall, hurt his shoulder, and he's been out.
Saw a picture there of Kirk Gibson. He's still a stud. I saw him before the game, Keith, for an hour running the stairs and running around the field.
What I find so interesting about Kirk is how calm he is as a manager.
Bloomquist hits one out to center, measured by Torres, and that's the first out of the night.
Because he was a feisty player.
Yeah, you thought that maybe he would be like, we all knew what Larry Bowa would be from a player to a manager. And you had a feeling that maybe Kirk was going to be like that. But both his mom and dad were educators. He has the more educated approach.
The softer touch.
There you go.
One out and nobody on. Here's Gerardo Parra, who's filling in center field for Chris Young these days.
And you remember, Gary, when Arizona came early last year to Citi Field, they looked awful.
Well, the Mets swept that 3-game series. It was the series that got the Mets going after that 5-13 start. But after Arizona left, they were in the doldrums, but they took off from there. And Parra swinging over that curveball, and it's 1-1.
That is the one thing about this job that I didn't know. You can see some teams come in and you say, boy, they have no shot. That's the worst team I've ever seen. And the next thing you know, they're winning their division.
We've already seen that this year. When the Braves came in the first week of the season, they looked awful. And since then, they've gone on a nice little run, and they're 15-11. So, can't make judgments too soon. 1-2 to Parra, who's hitting at .256 at .292 last year. And look how far outside Toley's set up. He was in the other batter's box. I don't think I've seen that from Josh before.
I haven't seen a catcher that wide since the Atlanta Braves in the mid-90s. Look at that.
Oh, my goodness. I guess he certainly wants it away, and it's something he still threw a strike.
Well, that
G just couldn't help himself.
What that tells me is that G is making mistakes with 2 strikes, and they have informed Toley to make sure when he's ahead in the count, if you want to waste a pitch, make sure you give him that outside target.
Really, that was shades of Eddie Perez.
That's right.
With Greg Maddux on the mound back in the day with the Braves. Some of our nation's military on hand. And G goes full on Parra, 3-2, with Justin Upton waiting on deck. The Diamondbacks have just come from Washington, where they lost the last 2 games of their series with the Nationals. And all the Diamondbacks came away tired of talking about, but awfully impressed with Bryce Harper.
Well, I think it was interesting as you see the 5 division titles. I think it was really interesting. Davey's answer to the front office about how they should keep Harper. He put him in the 3rd slot.
Youngest player to hit 3rd since Andrew Jones 16 years ago. And that's low ball 4, and so G issues a 1-out walk to Parra.
Interesting choice, huh? Keith there, 3-2 changeup to the 2nd place hit in Parra.
In front of Upton, who is, easily the most dangerous bat in the order. The numbers are down so far this year, but remember he played for about 3 weeks with a very painful left thumb, which only now
is feeling better.
He's a big, strong man, let me tell you. And I love his swing.
Still only 24 years old. He was in the big leagues as a teenager.
Well, he looks a lot bigger than his 204. He's listed at 6'2", 204 pounds.
He's got the build a little bit that reminds me of a youngish Kevin Mitchell at the time.
I was going to say Gary Sheffield.
There you go. Yeah, that's even better.
That makes me feel good. I was 6 foot, 204 too. So I was bigger than him. Wow.
You're such a he-man.
And the fastball in for a strike to Upton. Parra at first base has 8 steals already this year, and the Diamondbacks have been doing a lot of running. And sometimes overly aggressive running. They've had a spate of guys over sliding second base, and they've been working on that over the last few days.
How in the big league level do you have to teach sliding is beyond me.
Well, let me ask you a question.
Oh.
As G throws it away, and Parra will get up and go to second base. So a throwing error on G moves the runner up.
You were going to ask, Gare?
Well, check the replay first.
Oh, little slow reaction from Ike there. That's going to be an error on the pitcher. He threw it into the runner. You know what? Sometimes when you're a first baseman, you got to step on them. They're in the way. That's tough. I got to catch that ball.
I was going to say there was a time when there used to be sliding pits in spring training, and guys would practice sliding. When do they practice now?
I never see it anymore. Used to put the sliding pants on. Remember, Ronnie?
Mets still have sliding pits in Port St. Lucie. In one of the backfields, I see the young guys out there sliding sometimes in the big pants, so they don't grass stain their uniform.
The minor leaguers.
Minor leaguers.
What about the major leaguers?
Well, you know.
Supposedly you.
Too much to ask?
You're supposed to slide.
It's a different world, Gary. You can't be asking all that kind of stuff. You know, very sensitive.
0-2 to Upton with Kubel waiting on deck, and it's taken low. 1 ball, 2 strikes.
Do you park a car behind second? Is that how you work on that over sliding base?
Well, what Kirk Gibson said about it is he said, there's a happy medium. We also don't want to be, coming up short and not being aggressive. We want to go hard into the bag, but, you need to stay on when you're done. It's a fine line. G ahead on Upton, 1-2. And the curveball fouled off. A lot of curveballs early on from Dillon.
Dillon threw a lot of curves in Denver and had a very good outing. It was a big win for the Mets after they lost the opener in that fiasco, that 18-9 fiasco. He pitched a big ball game, and he got that curve over. He's got a deceptive curve, Ronnie. I think because he throws over to the right side, first base side of the rubber, he almost throws it at an angle into the body of the right-handers, and it kind of freezes them.
It's got like a humpback in it, doesn't it?
And Upton takes that fastball, strike 3 called. So Tolle didn't have to move to the other batter's box to get one in the corner, and G has his first strikeout of the night.
Well, he's way out there. Good pickup by you, Gare, and that has the corner. That's a good pitch. That's belt high. Oh, no, he may have thought it was outside. I don't know. It's
looked like a strike from here.
Well, too close to take.
So 2-out Parra still at second, and now Jason Kubel. Kubel has been a big bat in the middle of that Arizona lineup, signed as a free agent. A couple of years plus an option after spending his entire career up until this point with the Twins. And he has been hot lately, 367 over the last 15 games. That's put on a modified shift against him. And the first pitch curveball misses for ball 1.
Well, he's hit in 13 of his last 14 games. You see the shift there. Yeah, that's a significant shift, I would say. And you see a lot of Murphy playing in the outfield, 10, 12 feet deep in the grass in right field.
Pulled on the ground, and Murphy on the outfield grass is there to play it, and that retires the side. So G works around a walk and an error. Mets will come up in the bottom of the first against Wade Miley with no score. on the mound. Scott Hairston, who has eaten up lefties this year, gets the start in left field. Lucas Duda back in the lineup after missing the last 3 starts with the flu. And Ruben Tejada, who had 3 hits in the last game in Houston, gets the leadoff spot against Miley.
Well, here's Miley's numbers presented by Toyota. 3-0 so far. He's seen those 21 innings, 15 Ks, 5 games so far, 2 starts.
And Miley beat out Kirk Neuenhuis for National League Rookie of the Month with those numbers. Tejada up to 305 on the year after 13 hits on the road trip. And he takes a strike from Miley. Ruben now with 29 hits. That's 9th in the National League. 10 doubles, tied for 2nd in the league. And he's been the Mets' best hitter against lefties this season. 425 against left-handers. A ball and a strike to Tejada. So Neuenhuis sitting tonight. Don't know if he'll play tomorrow. Another lefty going for the Diamondbacks. Another rookie, Patrick Corbin. And then the Mets will see Trevor Cahill, the former Oakland Athletic, on Sunday. Cahill pitched a gem his last time out. This is a dribbler. Tough play for Montero, but he pounces on it and gets Tejada for the first out.
That was impressive.
Like a cat. Because the pitcher wasn't going to get it done here. The catcher had to do it, and he does it nicely. Nice bare hand, nice toss.
Well, for you folks who don't follow Arizona, Montero is one of the hidden gems. Not many people know how good of a player he is.
Well, we've known about his hitting, but I think he's become a better defensive player.
Well, the Coors Light Diamondback defense, and in the 6th outfield assist, Kubo's not known to have a strong arm. A lot of times left fielders, because they have the shortest throw to third base, they get more assists to say if you had a guy out in right field with a cannon or center field.
Daniel Murphy hitless in his last 12 at bats, has seen his average go down to 283.
He's been feeling for the ball a little bit and getting kind of, I know I said it in Houston, Gary, he likes to use the term, I want to see the ball, get the ball deeper into the zone. Well, I think he lets it get too deep sometimes, and you lose your aggressiveness.
Grounded to the right side, and Goldschmidt is on it. And the throw is dropped by Miley, and Murphy's safe at first. So each pitcher has made an error in the first inning of the game. G on a pickoff throw, and now Miley just dropping a perfect toss by Goldschmidt.
Well, it's a beautiful shovel right there. Let her high. He just looked down to the base.
You know, when you get to a certain point, you never have to look at that base if your fundamentals are right. Your path will take you right along the bag.
So it's an assist for the first baseman and an error on the pitcher. And the Mets have a 1-out base runner. For David Wright, who's been just killing it. 9-game hitting streak right now for David. 2nd in the National League in batting. 2nd in on-base percentage. Just had himself a great month of April, and he's continued it into the early days of May.
Interesting how Miley kind of does the step towards the first base dugout and throws across his body.
See the numbers for David during this current hitting streak.
He's been going predominantly up the middle, Dave. It's interesting too about Miley, his ground ball to air out ratio against right-handers is 1.00. Yeah. And to left-handers 2.50. So if he gets the ground ball, it means he's got a changeup run, a little sink.
Now Miley behind 2-0, and Wright takes a strike. Well, before the game tonight, Darryl Strawberry was on hand. David Wright, in honor of David having broken Straw's franchise RBI record.
David's going to have them all, won't he?
Yes, he will.
And that's in the dirt and scooped out by Montero. 3-1. There's the Mets' top 5 all-time in RBIs.
Now, if you're wondering why, we got Met fans here. No one really has ever played a full 20-year career here except for Krampel.
And he spent a lot of that as a backup player, as a pinch hitter. Now Miley behind on Wright, 3-1, and he checks in on Murphy at first base. That was kind of a weird step toward first.
You know, when they talk about Miley, they talk about it. He's a good athlete. He does all the little things. He's a good hitter. But so far, it's looked a little shaky, not only with the move here, and that move very reminiscent of Andy Pettitte.
And he's from the same part of the world as Andy. Grew up in Louisiana. In fact, there's a show on TV called Swamp Hunters, and Miley apparently is very good friends with several of the regulars on that show.
That's a good thing not to share.
3-2. Let's see if Murphy's running, and Miley checks in on him.
It's swamp what? Is it swamp people or swamp
hunters? I
swamp
think it's
hunters?
called.
Yes, it's very gross.
Are you familiar with that one, Keith?
Well, I've seen the trailers on them, and it doesn't appeal to me one bit.
Swamp People, it's called.
Okay.
History Channel. The runner goes and Wright fouls it off anyway.
There's moccasins in those swamps, for crying out loud.
Water moccasins, yeah.
Cottonmouths. No, thank you. Gators. Please. I got better ways to spend my weekends.
Well, this particular Gator cut down the Marlins in his last start. He allowed just 1 hit in 6 1/3. He was just tremendous, and trying to back that up here tonight in New York. Murphy's running, and David takes a borderline pitch for ball 4, and the Mets have 2 men on. So Miley, who had walked only 7 in 21 innings coming into this start, issues his first walk of the night, and the 18th that David Wright has drawn. He's in the top 4 in the league in walks.
Yeah, I find interesting, last couple of seasons when David's strikeouts have gone up, he didn't always run the runner.
It's true. Now he's less of a strikeout risk, and so Murph was on the move. So now Lucas Duda, who returns to the lineup tonight after missing the last 3 starts. He did pinch hit twice, but he was a very late scratch on Wednesday when it looked like he might get in. He's lost a little weight after battling the flu for the better part of a week. And facing the left-hander, he takes a strike.
I would like to see Lucas. He likes to take a lot of first pitches, but the left-handers in particular. And he's got to know this. They're leading him off with breaking ball running. You know, you can just kind of lay in a high weed.
It's not even a good one. Just flipping it over there.
To get me over breaking ball.
And the fastball moves him back. A ball and a strike. Lucas hitting just 192 against lefties. And one thing that Terry Collins has been adamant about with both Duda and Davis is to just try and use the other side of the field, especially against the left-handers. And the fastball up and away, 2-1.
Mike's big hit on that trip, right, was in Colorado, was a ground ball through the hole between short and third.
Yes, the game winner. Yeah. You're right. But Ike, I felt kind of took a little slight step back. He's much better than he was about almost the entire month of April. But he started to pull a little bit too much in Houston, and I thought in Denver, I thought that he was on his way, but in Houston he kind of got back into that just a little bit out in front and pulling too much.
Well, Miley's been falling behind the hitters early in this game. 2-1 to Duda with 2 men on.
Oh, he's struggling.
And now he's behind 3-1 with Scott Hairston on deck. Interestingly, the left-hand hitters have given Miley a little more trouble than the right-hand hitters early on, but it's a small sample. This is only his 3rd start. He began the year in the bullpen, but when Daniel Hudson went down with a little bit of a shoulder problem, they moved Miley into the rotation, and this is now his 3rd start.
His first 2 starts have been brilliant.
And Duda takes one the other way to left field. Over comes Kubel to grab it for the 2nd out. So Duda does go the other way, but he's retired. Now 2 out and 2 on.
Good idea. That's right down the outer half, more middle, and he just played it the other way.
Kubel did a lot of DHing in Minnesota.
A lot of DHing. If he did play, he played right field. Getting used to playing the other corner.
I mean, he's obviously not blessed with a lot of speed out there, but he's done an adequate job in the outfield. So now 2 out and 2 on, and Scott Hairston the batter. Hairston had a very good road trip, including hitting for the cycle in Colorado. 381 for the trip with 6 RBIs, and he takes a strike.
Did he hit for the cycle and then was replaced?
Yeah.
Crazy.
Well, it's not like he was going to hit for another cycle in the same game.
Yeah, but you want 5 hits, or right?
Ball and a strike to Scott, who's gotten a lot of playing time early in the season. The Mets have faced a ton of left-handed pitching. This is already the 12th left-handed starter the Mets are facing in their first 26 games, and it'll be 13 out of 28 tomorrow.
He takes a rip. That's what makes him Harrison very dangerous. And you've got to keep the ball down on him.
You see the recent numbers on Hairston, up to 250 on the year after a slow start. Now for a rare event here in the first inning, Miley is ahead in the count. And Hairston fouls back the fastball.
Well, Miley goes right after him.
Yeah, he throws, above 90, 91 miles an hour or so. Good change, couple different kind of breaking ball.
You like those pitchers that are around the plate.
Again, the 1-2, and the breaking ball in the dirt. 2-2. So Miley's already thrown 23 pitches here in the bottom of the first.
Well, his first 2 starts since coming out of the bullpen and inserted into the rotation, he's gone 6 innings of shutout ball and 6 1/3 of shutout. But I don't know, we give up 1 unearned run.
Reaching forward and a pop up into shallow center, and Gerardo Parra is there to squeeze it to end the inning. So the Mets get 2 men aboard and strand him. We head for the second. Dylan G back to the mound in a scoreless game. Back in town for a brief stopover before heading back on the road. Miguel Montero leads off for the Diamondbacks as we go to the second. Montero hitting .280. 18 home runs a year ago. Guy who takes the ball to left center with authority.
He likes to get that ball middle in down and jerk it.
It'll be Montero, then Paul Goldschmidt and Cody Ransom for the Diamondbacks in the second. A ball and a strike to Montero, who will be a free agent after this season. And tell you what, there is so little quality catching around baseball these days. Pulls one on the ground through the hole for a base hit.
Yeah, that's what I remember him. He likes to pull.
He got the right pitch to pull as Dylan threw him a 1-1 changeup. So there's the first hit of the game for either side. And now Paul Goldschmidt, the slugging first baseman, hitting at .246. He's been swinging the bat a little bit better lately, but Goldschmidt is a very dangerous hitter. He's got only 1 home run this year, but he can hit them out of sight.
Well, really, he replaces the power that they lost with Mark Reynolds when he went to Baltimore.
Has Mark Reynolds hit a home run yet?
I don't believe he has.
I don't think he has.
I think he's tied with Pujols.
He's on the interstate, too.
The longest drought for him over there in Baltimore.
Well, with Reynolds, if he's not hitting home runs, you're not getting much because he strikes out so much. And Goldschmidt takes a curveball for a strike, and it's 1-1.
There's that deceptive curveball. There's Vinny Rottino, just called up.
I asked Vinny how many gloves he had. He said, let's see, I got my catchers, which I haven't used this year. I've got my first baseman, which I haven't used this year. I've got my third baseman, which I haven't used. And my outfielder's glove. He was playing left field every day down in Buffalo. There's some of the collection.
And he had a terrific spring.
Mets are going with an extra bench player tonight. They sent Chris Schwinden down to Buffalo, not unexpected. And when it's time for that spot in the rotation to come up on Tuesday, it's going to be Miguel Batista who's going to take the turn in Philadelphia. So the Mets have the choice of reaching down for a Garrett Olson or a Jeremy Hefner, but they decided to keep it here. And at the time when Batista isn't able to pitch out of the bullpen, preparatory for that start, they'll bring up another reliever. Oh, yanked foul by Goldschmidt.
Well, Terry mentions it today. He said the reason they had Miguel Batista on the roster is that he's a guy that can spot start. He can do a lot of things for you. And if they have him on the roster, they might as well use him in that capacity.
Well, he's already started one game for the Mets this year. Not particularly successful against the Giants. Of course, his last start last year was spectacular. Pitched a shutout on the last day of the season. So we'll see. Here's the 1-2, and Goldschmidt reaching for it. And G has his second strikeout of the night.
Well,
one out of the second.
Sorry, Gary, that's the first time we've seen this. A little cutter that almost is like a slider outside. See that?
That's a good pitch. Don't throw it for a strike. See if the fish are biting.
Yep.
And they went after that one.
It's funny because, you know, G scrapped his slider last year, started throwing more of a cutter, but this year that thing seems to have a little more bite to it, almost like he's gone back to the slider.
Well, I like the control he has with, like Keith said, throwing that on the corner and then breaking it a foot out.
Here's Cody Ransom, the veteran utility infielder who's been playing a lot of third base these days for the Diamondbacks. And Ransom slugs one out to left center field. Back goes Hairston deep in the gap, looking up, and it's out of here. Cody Ransom with his third home run of the year, a two-run shot, and the Diamondbacks jump out to a 2-0 lead.
First pitch of the game for Ransom.
Well, Ransom, as we said, has been getting more playing time because Ryan Roberts has been struggling so badly to hit. And Ransom making a bid for more playing time, hitting a two-run homer his first time up tonight.
And that's out of the old city. That made it into the seats. The old seats. This was no cheapie. Right down the pipe fastball, and he just ambushed him. Wow.
Mets have been giving up a lot of home runs lately, and particularly home runs with men on base. It was a big story of their road trip in Colorado and Houston. Now Aaron Hill. Hill hitting at .256 with 4 home runs, and G bounces one to the backstop, a ball and a strike.
Well, Ronnie, if you're a pitcher and that happens to you, would you like to put it in the back of your head? Cody Ransom, first ball, fastball hitter?
You know, we're lucky enough to get a lot of information from Bloomberg Sports, and one of the things they give us is that there are certain hitters in the lineup for the Diamondbacks that swing about at that first pitch almost half of the time, and Ransom is one of those guys.
It is a very aggressive Arizona team, one that mirrors the personality of their manager. And it's hooked into the air to left field, and that'll fall for a hit for Aaron Hill. So Hill is aboard, third hit of the inning for the Diamondbacks at the bottom of the order. And now the pitcher Miley will come up. It's a team that does not draw a ton of walks. They do strike out a lot. They steal a lot of bases. But it's kind of a rollicking team, you know. They just have that Kirk Gibson type attitude. Miley looking to bunt the runner over, although he has certainly swung the bat well. 3 hits and 8 at bats. And he pops up the bunt, and Tolley lets it drop. Throws to first. They get the out on the hitter, Miley, but smartly, Hill remains right there.
Well, Hill, the seasoned veteran there, and you can fall for that. You know, Well, this is actually a very nice play by Josh, and it does it because the runner, if he doesn't run, you can get 2.
Well, the thing there, well, I disagree. I think that's not a great play because I'd rather have the pitcher running and have him out on those bases. You don't want the everyday player out there.
Well, you can let it drop and get the lead runner.
Right. Yeah. What you hope for on that is that the pitcher doesn't run.
Yeah. That he's walking back to the dugout.
Right. If he doesn't run hard, then you throw to second and you start the double play that way. So it's a 2-4 put out for the second out. And now Willie Bloomquist takes a strike.
But I'm saying in the future, if Josh wants to make that play and Hill has not gone off the base, throw the ball to second base. Get Hill off, make Miley run the bases.
Bloomquist flying to center his first time up.
What is it? How is that written in the rule book? Because technically it's not a pop-up, and the runner should have to advance. Ball hit the ground, right? It's like a ground ball.
Not once you throw to first base.
Once you touch first base, the force is off.
Gotcha. So that's how it's written in the rule book.
I've honestly seen that play before, where the catcher lets it fall, throws the ball into center field. Trying to get the lead runner.
Actually, hold on a second. If you let that ball drop and you don't step on first base and you tag the runner who's standing on first, isn't he out?
Yes.
But
he was on first.
But if he's on first and you haven't touched first yet to take the force off, and you tag him when he's on first base, he's still out, isn't he? Because he's forced to go to second.
Why don't we look it up?
So if you tag him first and then step on the base, wouldn't you get a double play out of that? We're going to have to figure that out. Meanwhile, Cody Ransom figured out a first pitch fastball from Dylan G, and he puts the D-backs up 2-0. Ike Davis takes a strike as we start the bottom of the second inning. Mets down 2-0. Ike had a very good beginning to his road trip, started to break out of things, but then 0 for his last 7 in Houston, and he strokes this one on the ground to shortstop. And
he sprained his ankle on his bat. I think
he is limping away from home plate. Never ran out of the batter's box as Bloomquist throws him out for the first out.
I think he threw his bat down and tripped over his bat. Let's see. No. Oh. I have done that in my career.
What exactly did he do?
He twisted his ankle.
His ankle just collapsed.
Is it the same ankle that he hurt last year? Watch his back foot, folks. Oh, yes. Ouch.
Ray Ramirez followed him down the tunnel. Now Torres socks one to deep left center. Back goes Kubel at the wall, and it's off the fence. Parra comes over to play the carom, and Torres will stop at second base with a well-struck double. And the Mets have their first hit of the night. First extra base hit of the season for Andres Torres.
The first ball fastball hitting again. Off day, yeah, these guys are frisky. Oh, run a foot.
Didn't miss by much. So Torres in scoring position with 1 out. And now Josh Tolley, who's hitting at 296. Well, Ike appears to be okay. And to answer your question, that is the same ankle, the left ankle that he hurt last year. But it did not appear to be disabling in any way, but it certainly was scary.
Interesting there. Torres, the first one to lose a base by this new configuration. If the wall's not there, it bounced on the warning track, he probably gets a triple.
Interesting. Well, there will certainly be fewer triples in this ballpark than there have been in recent years. 1, Reyes isn't here, and 2, the dimensions are less inviting for triples. Used to be a lot of those hit out to right center. In fact, any ball that was hit in right center was almost an automatic triple.
We have few Kentucky Derby horses here. We have more workhorses here. Plow horses.
Claimers. Swing and a miss, and Tolley's down on the high fastball. First strikeout for Miley, and the second out of the inning.
Well, he went up the ladder on him, and he chased.
Well, I've just found the rule on that play at first base, and the Mets could have gotten a double play. Here's what it says. If a runner's forced to advance by reason of a batter becoming a runner, and 2 runners are touching a base to which the following runner is forced, the following runner is entitled to the base, in other words, the back runner, and the preseason runner shall be out when tagged.
Got it.
So if Murphy tags the runner at first hill and then steps on first base, it's got to be a double play, right?
Does the runner have to touch the back runner? Does he have to be on the base, though? Does he have to run to the base first? There's 2 on there.
That's a good question.
If you tag him before and he's running, is he? You know what I'm saying? So I must confess, folks, that's my position. I don't know this rule. I played my whole life at first base, and I wouldn't have known what to do.
We'll have to do a little more research.
Yeah, so when uncertain, you just
tag the advanced runner.
Always tag the advanced runner.
Now, if there's no force involved, if there's no force, like sometimes you get 2 runners at third base, the first runner, the preceding runner, is entitled to the base, and the back runner is out if you tag them both. G strikes out. Back-to-back strikeouts from Miley, working around the double by Torres, and it's a 2-0 Arizona lead. The bridges are just gorgeous.
Is this considered the gloaming right now?
Beautiful.
Doesn't get much prettier than that, does it? Let's check in with Kevin Burkhardt. Kevin?
Hey guys, you watch Dylan G pitch and you almost forget the last 2.5 years. He's pitching with a partially torn labrum, which sounds pretty awful. Doctors told him, though, that it's something that probably a lot of pitchers actually have, but don't even know because they never get pictures taken. He said really for him it's a case of maintaining the strength in the shoulder and reducing the swelling. Now, back in 09, he missed 4 months dealing with the injury, but since he's done a nice job just dealing with it. He said, the thing is for me, I was always told strengthen it, work, strengthen it. So, really up until the end of last year, I would do strengthening exercises on my shoulder 2 times between starts, which honestly is a lot. I haven't talked to any of the pitchers that do that. So now he's cut it back just 1 time a week on the shoulder exercises, just 15 minutes. That's it. It's all bands too. He does little twists and turns that just strengthen the rotator cuffs and strengthen the area, and it's all done. He said, I feel a lot better. He said, I don't think I gave my muscles around it enough time to really recuperate last year. But you're always told to work, work, work. I didn't know any other way, guys.
G off the mound and throws out Parra. By the way, Kevin, nice hipster look with that skinny tie.
Oh, man.
Well, I'm trying to do it up. It's the celiac awareness night here at the ballpark, guys, so you know how important that is to me. So raise a lot of money for the Columbia University Celiac Center tonight, so thank you.
That's outstanding, and patronize the gluten-free table.
Also, I felt a little Beatles in me on the way.
That's right.
To me, you look like you could be in JFK's cabinet.
Ted Sorensen.
That's right.
One of the best and brightest.
Kevin doing the Dean Rusk. 1 out and nobody on. Here's Justin Upton, who took a call third strike his first time up, and he takes it off the plate for ball 1. Two and 0 to Upton with Jason Kubel on deck. G gave up a 2-run homer to Cody Ransom in the second inning. 4th home run he's allowed. This is his 5th start of the year. The really encouraging numbers for G in the early season have been his strikeouts and walks. His walks are way down, his strikeouts are way up. A better than 4-to-1 ratio coming into the night.
I think a lot of that has to do with how quick he's working much more quicker than last year.
To me, he's got the nice demeanor and temperament for a starting pitcher. He's very easygoing. I think last year it was his first year. He looked so much more comfortable out there. This year, he's bounced back from a bad start, where last year he may have gone into a rut. It's just all part of the growing process.
Let's see the career numbers on Dylan, who started out last year 7-0. And he gets Upton for the second time. So the changeup beats Justin Upton. That's the 3rd strikeout for G.
He had 3 swings and misses in this at bat against Upton, all coming on changeups.
And all out of the strike zone.
2-0 changeup, 2-1 changeup, 3-2 changeup.
Yep. He said, if you're going to swing at him out of the strike zone, I'm going to keep throwing it.
So 2 out and nobody on. Now Jason Kubel, who grounded out to second base his first time up. Let's put 3 infielders on the right side this time against Kubel. And he takes a knee-high fastball for a strike. Murphy fielded Kubel's ground ball right in about that spot on the outfield grass his first time up.
Keith, why don't more hitters bunt the baseball when you have this kind of defense and just say, listen, if you're going to play like that, I'm going to get a base hit until you come around my way.
I could see it with no outs leading an inning off.
Yeah.
Lined, and Tejada is in the right spot to field the one hopper and throw him out. So perfectly placed defense for the Mets against Jason Kubel. That helps Dylan G to a 1-2-3 inning. G gets low bridge, no problem. There's Tejada. NY's Super Slow Motion is brought to you by your Mercedes-Benz Tri-State dealers. Visit them on the web at searchmercedes.com. Top of the batting order for the Mets in the home third, trailing 2-0. Ruben Tejada leads off against Wade Miley. The 25-year-old lefty continues to rack up the innings without allowing an earned run. He allowed an unearned run in his last start against Miami. The only run he's allowed since joining the starting rotation. That's about runners in scoring position in each of the first 2 innings against Miley, but he's gotten key outs each time. And Tejada hits one up the middle off the mound and into center field. So the Mets get the leadoff man on for the first time, and Tejada, coming off a 3-hit game in Houston on Wednesday, has his first hit of the night and his 30th of the season.
What a road trip he had, huh?
He sure did, and he got shut down the first 2 games in Houston, but got the big 3-hit day, getaway day. And what he's done, Ron, I'm sure you've noticed, is he's hitting the ball on the ground and line drive.
Yep.
He's keeping it out of the air.
So now here's Murphy, who reached on an error by the pitcher, who dropped a throw on what should have been a 3-1 put out in the first. And he takes a fastball for a strike. Ronnie, when you're pitching against a team that just does not steal bases, is there a chance to get lulled into a false sense of security?
Well, one, you say thank you very much when you know a team doesn't run a lot. But you're right. You always have to pay attention because you'll get a guy like a David Wright, Tejada maybe as he emerges this season, that are going to try to time you and go. So you're always aware, but you're always happy when you're playing against a team that goes from base to base. Because that means they got to get 2. That means they got to get 3, 4 hits to mount a rally.
Mets have just 8 stolen bases in their first 25 games. Tejada has just 1 of those. Terry Collins had said last year he'd like to see Tejada steal 20 bases this year, but you just don't see that happening.
Well, when you watch him play shortstop, he is very quick, but he is not a fast runner.
So in order to steal bases, you have to become a more opportunistic base runner.
Remember, it's going to be his kind of second time around the league. He'll get to know who he can run on, who he can't.
Well, the first thing is you have to be able to get a bigger lead. And Murphy cracks a base into the right center. Parra goes over. Falls down as he cuts it. Tejada to third will be held up there, and Murphy slides in with a double. Well, Parra did a great job to keep that ball from getting to the wall. That kept the Mets from scoring, but they have second and third and nobody out.
A real nice play cutting that ball off. That had triple written all over it. And Murph hustling all the way.
So the Mets have the tying runs in scoring position with nobody out, and David Wright coming up. David walked his first time up. Pushing that on base percentage all the way up to an even .500 for the year. The infield back for the Diamondbacks. Happy to concede a run to get an out here with Tejada at third and Murphy at second. Miley pitching very carefully to right. It's 2-0.
Well, he's got an open base, but you're really going to get yourself in a lot of trouble here.
Duda and Hairston behind right in the batting order.
Really? So he's going to
2-0 changeup, and it's 3-0.
David, who very rarely swings 3-0, this would be a great time to do that.
Look at that. Look at that kind of a shift there. The first baseman way over. That's more accentuated than I used to go out there.
Shows a lot of confidence in his ability to get back. That's ball 4, so he didn't come close. Threw him a 3-0 breaking ball. So finally wanted nothing to do with David Wright. And he'll take his chances instead with Duda with the bases loaded. Second time he's walked right, and David now over .500 has actually passed by Matt Kemp for the moment in on base percentage. Dodgers played this afternoon and lost in Chicago.
A.J. Ellis, he's the catcher over there in Los Angeles.
It's hard to keep your Ellises straight there in L.A. They've got Mark Ellis playing second. Those numbers were coming into the game for both players today. So here's Duda, who flied out to left his first time. Bases loaded, nobody out. And the first pitch from Miley misses low and away, and Montero will take a new baseball out to his pitcher.
One of the problems you run into here for a young pitcher is when you pitch around a hitter, sometimes that strike zone could be fleeting for a couple of pitches. What he's trying to do here is, with putting right at first base, he has the confidence that he can try to go for the punch out against Duda and try to get a double play with Hairston.
The Mets with the bases loaded this year are 2 for 20, and Kirk Neuenhuis has both the hits. He had the walk-off hit here, and then he had that bases loaded single in Houston that tied up the game on Monday, and that's it. The only 2 hits with the bases full for the Mets so far this season. Duda trying to join that club. Lucas flied to left his first time up. And he swings through the fastball, 1-1.
Threw it by him. He's tardy here.
You're right, Keith. He likes the ball down, doesn't he, Duda?
Scott Hairston on deck. But if you're a hitter who likes the ball down and it's 1-0 with the bases loaded and nobody out, and that ball's coming in letter high, why would you be swinging at it?
Well, some hitters aren't as disciplined. You know, a young hitter, it takes a while to realize where your strengths are. One thing about that pitch upstairs, it looks as big as a grapefruit, you know? It's so tantalizing.
Dave Duncan used to always say, remember when you're pitching with the bases loaded, the hitter loses his patience too, because they want to do something big.
Robert Ventura always said the opposite. He was great with the bases loaded. Said, hey, I'm not in trouble. He's in trouble.
Exactly.
Here's the 2-2. It's fouled off.
I agree. You got a pitcher that's got himself with the bases loaded. He's worked himself into a hole. He's in trouble, and you've got the advantage. And I always, first ball, fastball hit in any situation where a pitcher was struggling. And don't let him throw that fastball right down the pipe that get me over fastball. Make him pay.
2-2 to Duda with the bases full and nobody out. And Lucas lays off the curveball, and it's in for a call third strike, and he certainly didn't think so. But the young home plate umpire Dan Bellino rings up Duda for the first out.
Well, this is the best curve I've seen him throw.
I thought Montero almost took this out of the strike zone. Watch how he catches this, guys.
That was more like a slider, wasn't it, Ronnie?
Yep.
Third strikeout for Miley. Now Hairston bats with the bases full and 1 out. Scott flied to center his first time up. Tejada led off the inning with a single. Murphy doubled and Wright walked. That's now 2 for 21 with the bases full. And already tonight 0 for 5 with runners in scoring position. And Hairston rips one into left field for a base hit. Tejada is in. Murphy right behind him. Wright goes to third. It's a 2-run double for Scott Hairston to tie up the game. Now there's a man who likes a high pitch.
Well, he jumps all over it. And surprising pitch solo right down the outer half and up. And Hairston continues to shine.
So the Mets have gotten even at 2. Hairston, who had 6 RBIs on the road trip, cashes 2 more. And now Ike Davis, the batter. The infield remains back. They'll concede the go-ahead run on a ground ball. And Ike tries to lay off, but he went around. Strike 1. Ike checking with Dan Bellino to make sure that he called that a swing, which he did. Davis hitless in his last 8 at-bats, hitting just 167 this year with runners in scoring position. And a broken back grounder, that'll get the lead run in. Hill throws out Davis for the second out, but in comes Wright, and it's 3-2 New York. So it wasn't very good contact, but it was productive contact. Davis's 9th RBI of the year.
Well, remember, Ike turned his ankle, his left foot It looks like he's okay right there. The prior at bat, after the swing, he did a corkscrew practically.
So 3-2 New York. Now Hairston at third with 2 out for Torres, who doubled off the wall in left center his first at bat. And he pulls one past the third baseman, Ransom, and it's 4-2 New York. Hairston in to score on the RBI hit for Andres Torres.
Well, his hits so far have been RBIs, haven't they?
They sure have.
He had RBI hits in all 3 games in Houston, and now he makes it 4 for 4.
I don't like Ransom playing even with the bag or in against the right-handed Torres. Maybe if he's left-handed, you play in there, but not 2 outs at him batting right-handed.
So Charles Nagy, the pitching coach, out to talk to Miley, who has suffered through his first bad inning as a starter this year. The 4 runs in an inning matches the biggest inning for the Mets so far this year. Mets have scored what is now tied for the most runs with 2 outs in the majors. Now Josh Tolley will try and keep it going, and Josh fouls off the first pitch fastball.
I just think when I see of Miley right now, Ronnie, he just doesn't have a great breaking ball. He likes to throw his fastball, and he's not a guy throwing in the high 90s. He needs to work on a breaking ball.
He's a fastball changeup pitcher that can't get to his changeup because the Mets left-handed hitters.
Tolley again chasing out of the strike zone as he did in his first at bat. He's down 0-2. We've seen Josh do that more since this road trip began, since he hit the home run in Colorado, than we had all year.
It's a bad slider right here.
Hunter Pence just homered off Steven Strasburg. 2-0 Phillies down in D.C. 1-2 now to Tolley. So Strasburg is human, it turns out. That Nationals pitching staff, though, has been unbelievable. It's not just Strasburg and Zimmerman. Detweiler,
yeah,
he was great again yesterday in beating the Diamondbacks.
Oh, Detweiler opened our eyes up here in the start he had early in the year.
Detweiler, of course, beat out John Lannon.
Looked like the right move, huh?
Yeah. That's where a team made a decision that you very rarely see. They're paying Lannon a lot of money. I think $5 million is the number. And usually they err on taking the guy that they're paying a lot of money to, and this time they said no, we're going to take the guy that's going to help us the most.
I smell Davey Johnson in that decision process. Davey loves, great judge of young talent, and not surprised that Bryce Harper is inserted in the number 3 hole in that lineup, and Davey wanted to go north with him.
Only took him 5 games to put him in the 3 spot.
Davey's good for young players.
There goes Torres. He's picked off. Goldschmidt's throw is on the money, and Torres is tagged out to end the inning. 1-3-6 on the caught stealing. That ends a very productive inning for the Mets. They loaded him up, and Scott Hairston drove home a pair. Davis and Torres with RBIs as well, and the Mets lead 4-2 after 3. G given a lead for the first time as we go to the 4th inning. Mets up 4-2 on the Diamondbacks. Miguel Montero, who singled through the hole into right his first time up, leads off. And he takes a strike from G. It'll be Montero, Goldschmidt, and Ransom for the Diamondbacks after the Mets put up a 4 spot against Wade Miley in the bottom of the 3rd. G's retired 5 in a row. And it's taken wide by Montero, a ball and a strike. Well, all of baseball today is buzzing about the incomprehensible season-ending injury sustained by Mariano Rivera. You know, it's not often that a player is acknowledged in his own day as the greatest to ever play his position, and it's even less common for a guy to get hurt shagging fly balls in what could be a career-ending injury.
You know what's interesting is Terry Collins in his statement today was asked about Mariano, and he said, you know what, the entire industry of baseball suffers when Mariano Rivera is not saving games for the Yankees.
Bounced wide at 3rd, and Wright goes over to grab it, and the sidearm toss gets Montero one away. Well, here's a little perspective on how great Mariano has been, especially in the postseason. You know who has the last postseason home run against Mariano Rivera? Jay Payton in the 2000 World Series.
Wow.
12 years ago. And by the way, the Yankees won that game.
He's got 14 2-inning saves in the postseason. That's the most ever.
Here's the question I would pose. I think it's pretty much gospel that Rivera is the greatest closer ever. How about this? How many players other than Rivera have dominated their position in their era the way he has? Duda puts it away for the second out. I would posit that the only guy who would get that kind of designation other than Rivera would be Babe Ruth.
The Babe.
Who was that much better than everybody in his era at what he did.
You know, it was just a perfect storm for Mariano. They recognized at an early age that he was not going to be a starter and made him a reliever. That didn't happen when he first started in '95. Then he was able to learn the ropes by setting up John Wetland in that brilliant year for Wetland, where he would go 2 innings plus and pitch in real tough situations. And then even more importantly, came in the era of the 1-inning save, started by guys like Eckersy, etc.
So do you think if he had come up when Gossage and Suter and Quisenberry were going 2 2/3 to get saves that he wouldn't have been as successful?
I wouldn't put anything past him because he's just one of the greatest athletes to ever play this game, even though he's a reliever. We don't always say that about relievers, right? But that's hard to do. You know, to do the stuff that Goose would do and Suter would do and Raleigh Fingers. Those are all very big men. And Suter, of course, had the, I don't want to say trick pitch, but you know what I mean. He had the split finger.
Well, he brought in a new pitch of the whole generation. I mean, it was the pitch of the decade.
But how about Rivera doing it basically with one pitch?
Yeah.
Well, I mean, Suter, you know, was reliant on his splitter, much as Mariano has been reliant on his cutter.
That to me is the biggest testament is, you know, having pitched at this level and how difficult it is to try to develop other pitches to trick guys and get them out. He doesn't have to trick anyone. Here it comes. See what you can do with it. Usually, nothing. Oh!
And that one goes behind Ransom for ball 4 as the curveball completely slipped on Dylan G. Look at this.
Well, he likes to start that curveball. You see where he has to throw it kind of at angle into the hitter. And he just was late, didn't get on top, Ronnie.
I think he was just trying to 3-2, so he's trying to throw it for a strike, so he didn't throw it. He kind of aimed it.
So it's a hit by pitch as that ball glanced off Ransom, a 2-out base runner. Well, I guess the encouraging news today is that Mariano has said he is going to attempt to come back and play next year. There's Aaron Hill, you know, because he had intimated before the season that there was every chance he was going to retire, and maybe he was intending to. He never let on one way or the other, but maybe this injury has forced a reassessment on his part.
Well, he doesn't want to go out this way,
of course.
You know?
Well, if he comes back and plays another year, it just means it'll be 6 years instead of 5 from now that he gets in the Hall of Fame. A lot of room out in center field for Torres, and he puts away the fly ball from Aaron Hill to end the inning. Dylan G pitching with the lead. Sets him down. 4-2 New York. Night. That's pretty, isn't it?
Yeah.
Josh Tolley, first pitch swinging, hits one out to right center field. Parra getting back in the gap. Tolley retired on 1 pitch as we start the bottom of the 4th. Let's check in with Kevin.
Up here on the Pepsi porch, guys, and Pepsi Max is doing a cool thing with MLB. If you go to MLB.com/Pepsi Max, they're doing this thing called the Pepsi Field of Dreams, and basically got a chance to go on and you vote for your favorite players at each position in each league, and then when it's all said and done, when the voting's all done, you basically have a chance to play against your favorite legends. Again, it's MLB.com/Pepsi Max. Keith, do you know about this?
Yeah, I do.
Oh, good, because you're on the ballot.
I know.
I actually voted for you because I want to have you teach Logan T-ball. That's okay. Hope you don't mind.
That's fine. Tell him to get a golf club.
You could vote up to 25 times, so I'm just sitting here on my phone just punching you in.
He's a tough coach, Kevin. I don't know.
Right near the bag, it's a fair ball, and Ransom throws out Dylan G by a stride. Dylan hustling down the line, but Ransom makes a nice play for the second out.
Ralph's on the ballot too, fellas.
So that accounts for 2 of your votes. I don't know who you're going to vote for the other 7 spots, but I guess it doesn't matter, does it? That's Kevin's view from the Pepsi porch. We're going to be up there in a few weeks.
I heard, yes. Exciting.
Well, we had a good time last year. They just replayed that game on SNY this afternoon. I was watching.
How can we top last year?
Well, we're going to have 3 home runs up there instead of 2.
And maybe catch one of them.
Came pretty close last year. That was fun. Here's Ruben Tejada, who's 1 for 2 today. And he takes a strike from Miley. Tejada singled to center to get the Mets' 4-run 3rd inning started. Now has his batting average up to .309. And a fastball in for a strike, 0-2. 25-year-old Wade Miley out of southeastern Louisiana, which I believe is now known as Louisiana Monroe. And that's at the feet of Tejada, and he's hit by the pitch. So after Ransom got hit in the back by an errant curveball, Tejada takes an 0-2 pitch.
He's having a hard time with his slider the whole game. Well, that got him.
Out of bounds. First batter Miley's hit this year. The Mets have a 2-out base runner for Daniel Murphy, who drove a double to right center and scored a run in the third. 1 for 2. That base hit, that double for Murphy, snapped an 0 for 13 skid. That's with 4 left-hand hitters in the lineup today against the left-hander. They have had as many as 6 left-hand hitters against lefties this year. They did that against Jamie Moyer in Colorado. The first time in club history they ever had 6 left-hand hitters in the lineup against a left-handed pitcher.
I think the only other team in Major League Baseball right now that runs into the same problem the Mets are the Cleveland Indians. Play a lot of left-handed hitters.
Well, the Braves.
There you go.
With they got Hayward, McCann,
Freeman
on a daily basis, and Bourne. So they've got those 4 in there just about every day. Two and 1 to Murphy with Wright on deck, and as much as Miley has demonstrated he does not want to pitch to David Wright tonight, you have to figure Murph's going to get something to hit here on 2 and 1. And he grounds it out to shortstop, where Bloomquist gets the force play to end the inning. Mets leave 1. We head for the 5th with G and the Mets up 4-2. Hitches a game day ride to Citi Field with the Mets lefty. Get an inside look at his daily routine, his teammates, and his personal life in this exclusive online video feature only on SNY.TV, your online home of all things New York sports. The pitcher Miley bunted into an out on an unusual play in the second inning. With Aaron Hill at first, he popped it up in front of the plate, and Josh Tolley let it drop and then threw the ball to first base. And we have definitively concluded that had Daniel Murphy taken the throw and tagged the runner who was standing on first and then stepped on first base, it would have been a double play. As Miley shoots one through the hole, he's got his 4th hit in 10 at bats. He's a 400 hitter standing at first. But instead, Murphy instinctively took the throw and stepped on first, and that took off the force, and so Hill was able to stay at first base. But you know what? It's a play that comes up once a career.
It never came up in my career. The runner always around.
None of us do, and that's our job.
The catcher dropped the ball only because the runner didn't run.
Yeah.
And then threw to second base, and he had double play.
It's a very different kind of a play, but it makes you think of that famous play with Mickey Mantle in the 1960 World Series, where on a sharp ground ball to first, he dove back into the bag at first base.
Yes.
That's right.
Rather than risking being tagged out at second after was the first baseman Rocky Nelson for the Pirates
right.
stepped on first base. taking off the force. Fly ball foul. And Willie Bloomquist is in the 2-strike hole. Bloomquist is flying to center and hitting to a fielder's choice 0 for 2. Oh, 2 to Bloomquist. And he goes down swinging on that cutter. Strikeout number 4 for Dylan G.
I like this pitch. He controls it. He starts it on the corner.
Doesn't throw it for a strike.
Yep.
It's a bait pitch.
And that really is a slider, not a cutter.
Yes, it is.
Moves too much to be a cutter. So here's Gerardo Parra, who has walked and grounded back to the mound. Now, Justin Upton is on deck, and while Upton is up, we're going to unveil a new feature tonight. It's kind of a pitch predictor. The object is to try and figure out what the next pitch is going to be and what % chance there is of a particular pitch being thrown in a particular spot. And our friends at Bloomberg have gone through a number of factors to try and make that prediction of what Dylan G will throw on any particular pitch during the next at bat to Justin Upton. We're going to particularly focus on G's changeup during the at bat, and there's a good one to Parra, and it's 0-2. They go by his overall use of that pitch, the count, the number of runners, his history versus that particular batter, the type of batter involved, and they use 4 years of pitch data to try and figure out what % chance Dylan will throw his changeup on any particular pitch in the upcoming at bat. We're rolling this out and see how that works for us. Here's the 0-2, and it's hit on the ground toward the hole. Murphy with a diving stop, and he has to play it first on Parra. Beautiful play by Murphy to take a base hit away from Gerardo Parra.
Well, Daniel not playing in the outfield grass either. It makes a very nice play. And I must say that, he is a work in progress. This is not his position. And what we saw from the first day of spring training, and even to the first opening day, the first game of the year, to now has been a marked improvement.
So let's take a look at our pitch predictor now. Upton today is 0 for 2. He struck out twice. Now, the average amount of time that Dylan uses his changeup is 19%. But on a first pitch of this at bat, our predictor says he only throws it 16% of the time.
And there's a changeup.
So pitch predictor was wrong.
Now, I think it's all very wonderful. This stuff is very wonderful for fans sitting at home on your sofa. I think it's all great stuff. And as a hitter, you can look at this, and it could be useful. And you see the 0-1 count right there. But if he hasn't got his changeup over in this particular game, then you could throw it all away.
But here's the other thing that I would say. Doesn't it depend what pitch he throws the pitch before?
Not only the pitch before, but it makes a difference on how he got the batter out the previous at bat.
Now on this next pitch, so a 30% chance of the changeup, 14% chance of him throwing the curve.
This is a good time for him to throw the curve because he has not thrown one to Upton yet.
And he throws him the changeup, and he grounds one down to David Wright, and that'll do it for the Diamondbacks in the 5th. It's an interesting tool, isn't it? Because you never know for sure, but you can use some history to judge and some of the data the players have when they go into the game.
Hopefully we'll just use it sparingly. Well, let's see if he pitches to David Wright this particular at bat. Can't walk him here.
Well, he's walked him his first 2 trips. Second time David came around to score a run. David's now drawn 19 walks this year. It'll be Wright, Duda, and Hairston for the Mets in the 5th. Wade Miley had the 1 bad inning. Mets scored 4 in the 3rd. And after a first pitch curveball, he throws him a slider down. It's 1-1. And it's pulled down to third off the glove of Ransom. And David is aboard. Well, a hot shot, and it ate up the veteran Cody Ransom at third base.
Could he have got in front of this ball? I think he could have. Opted to play it off the side. Ball's hit hard.
And they're going to give David credit for a hit.
Yes, I would.
Would you?
It was a rocket. If he got in front of it, then he gets an error.
Well, we have infield coaches that are teaching infielders to catch the ball on the side. That's what happens.
10-game hitting streak now for Wright. So the Mets have 6 hits on the night, and Duda takes one in the dirt. Lucas, in his return to the lineup tonight, has flied out and taken a call third strike. By the way, certain folks are aficionados of such things. You look at the score in Washington, where Carlos Ruiz is homered to make it 3-1 Phillies. It's 2 home runs off Strasburg tonight. I know there are some people who. Here's one down to first, off the glove of Goldschmidt, rolling around in no man's land, and there's no play. Well, the Diamondbacks are not the world's greatest defensive team, and they're certainly showing it in this inning. Well, Goldschmidt certainly should have had.
Well, it's a tough play, but he doesn't go after the ball. No, you got to realize one thing. What is the pitcher doing on a ball hit to his left to right side of the infield? He's covering first. Go after and get the ball.
They scored that a base hit, too.
I think that should be a hit. Hit hard.
I do. I thought Ransom was an error. That one could have been a hit because it's down the line.
Both of them have a lot of glove on those balls.
Well, you know, they don't have a lot of range in that infield. So if you don't have a lot of range, you better catch the balls you can get to.
So the Mets first and second and nobody out. Scott Hairston, the batter. He ripped a 2-run double to tie up the game in the 3rd.
Oh, he's not going to throw him a high fastball first pitch. Fastball in and down. He's basically just a 2-pitch pitcher, occasionally sparingly with that slider, and it's not really the slider's his 3rd pitch, Ronnie.
Yep.
That's now with 7 hits off Wade Miley.
Oh,
Hairston
good.
takes another fastball for a strike.
Just 2 heaters inside, down and in.
Tells you a little bit about this kid Miley, why he's gotten off to a quick start despite the 4 runs given up. 2 misplays by his infield. It goes right after the next hitter.
Drill down the left field line, right toward the pole, and it's a foul ball. Foul ball. Very close.
That's a hard one for Scott because it looked like someone reached out in front of the fair pole.
No. It was a good call.
Good call.
Foul ball.
That's a high fastball here. See, he really doesn't have a put-away pitch. He needs to get a breaking ball, this kid.
The former Philly Mike Zagorski is up in the Diamondbacks bullpen. Boy, Hairston's hit a couple of bullets tonight.
And you know, they called for that pitch up in the strike zone. You got to get a different scouting report against Scott.
You got to get it up over his head. Well, they're staying inside. That just missed.
It's a good pitch by Miley. Right at second, Duda at first with nobody out. Mets trying to expand on their 4-2 lead. Hairston in his best hitting groove of the season right now. Bounces that one foul. I was going to mention earlier in the inning, before events got in the way, that there's people who are aficionados of such things. They know the walk-up music that each player has as they come to the plate. We don't generally pay attention to those because we're usually talking and not listening. But it's all changed tonight for the Mets. That one misses 2-2. A member of the wonderful band, the Beastie Boys, passed away today. A guy known as MCA, real name Adam Yauch. He died after a long battle with cancer. And the Mets, in honor of MCA, are all coming to the plate today to Beastie Boys music. And if you're not a Beastie Boys fan, the music that Ike Davis is coming to the plate with after Hairston is probably the song you recognize the best. You got to fight for your right to partay. Eighth pitch coming to Hairston, and he goes down swinging on the fastball away. So Miley has his 4th strikeout, 1 out of the inning.
High cheese outside. He pounded him in so much. He chased a bad one.
I always thought that song would be perfect in this town for a closer. It would really get the crowd going, right?
That would be fantastic. That's a good call. Double play ball right at Hill, and Bloomquist with the easy turn for the 4-6-3 double play. So the Mets get an opportunity but can't cash in. Still 4-2. The YM and YWHA of Washington Heights and Inwood with a $5,000 check to help pay for much needed improvements. Now it's your turn. Help your youth baseball or softball league with a $5,000 grant. Apply for the SNY Play Ball Award presented by Citi today at sny.tv/playball. Jason Kubel leads off the 6th inning.
A train all the way up Broadway to get to Inwood. It's the top of Manhattan, right?
It's not quite the top of Manhattan.
Yeah.
Top of Manhattan is Baker Field.
Yeah. Oh, that's right. I should know that. I've been there.
218th Street.
I tell you what, Dylan is in a groove.
Did you play football at Baker Field?
I did not. I did not. I played
baseball. Andy Coakley baseball diamond right next to Baker Field.
Only place you could hit one into the Hudson.
That's right. and it was short to, it still is short to center field. It's like 350 to center and about 450 down the lines.
They had a really good starting pitcher for Columbia when I was there.
Rolando Acosta.
Yep.
When I was at Columbia, we broadcast the baseball games up there, you know, when it was 35 degrees on a Friday afternoon.
Right.
And we called it the Friday afternoon Rolando Acosta show because he was that good.
That's right, he was.
Because in those days, you'd play single games on Friday and then doubleheaders on Saturday. So you always pitched your best pitcher Friday in the 9-inning game.
Mr. Acosta answers sir most of the time now, doesn't he?
He's a judge.
Dylan G's really working at a nice pace right here. He's just got the confidence flowing. He's pitching with a purpose.
2-2 to Kubel, and the changeup low and away. By the way, you were asking Ronnie about hitters bunting against this kind of shift. We saw both Carlos Gonzalez and Jason Giambi at least show it in Colorado. And I think we saw Brian McCann do it against the Mets earlier this year.
Showed it, right? Oh, no, he attempted the bunt, and I think he bunted it foul or something.
Ninth pitch of the at-bat coming to Kubel, and he just got a piece of that one to stay alive. Kubel, Montero, and Goldschmidt up for the Diamondbacks in the 6th. Arizona's year has kind of gone the opposite of the Mets. The Mets have thrived in close games. The Diamondbacks have not. A little bit high, and it's ball 4 to Kubel.
Pretty good at bat for Kubel.
Second walk given up by G. Miguel Montero coming up. Let's check in with Kevin.
You know, guys, as I watched Dylan G work here tonight, I think back to spring training when Dan Morgan did a very interesting thing with his pitching staff and Josh Tolley and Mike Nickias in on the group. Something he told me that he's done in his previous jobs, but never here with the Mets until this year. He got the catchers and all the pitchers in the room. What they had to do is go around, and when they got to each one, they had to list in order their best pitches and tell why. And it was a very interesting thing. Dan said it's worked before. I talked to a bunch of the pitchers, and they said they have never seen it before. You know, seen it on an individual level, pitching coach and pitcher, but not in a group setting like that. So what is the purpose of that? Why is that any good? Talked to Tim Burdack, and he said, you know, I think the thing is, not only does it make you kind of reflect on yourself and see what you have a lot of confidence in, but it tells the catchers what you have confidence in big spots. He said, example, last week in Colorado, that bases loaded spot against Todd Helton. You know, right away, they knew I want to use my slider there. I just had poor execution, but that was a pitch I wanted to go to, and I stressed that in that meeting. R.A. Dickey said it was a really great way to have communication, because not only did Dan and the coaches have, you know, some feedback, but we each had feedback on each other, trying to say what we saw and what we thought. And the other thing is the catchers guys took notes. So again, you kind of come into that big spot, you know what the pitcher wants to throw, you know what pitches most importantly they have confidence in. Ronnie, what do you think about that?
Well, the problem though, Kevin, is that the wily veteran Helton, he knows that too. And a couple of fastballs were thrown by him, and it almost like he was sitting on that slider, the one he hit out of the ballpark. But you're right, if Tim throws a good one, he doesn't hit it.
What about the concept of that kind of self-evaluation? You ever been through something like that?
Hi, I'm Ron Darling. Hi, Ron. I think it's important. I think you know, there's, you know, just becoming a group. Bobby Parnell in the pen, just sitting around together. You know, that fraternity of pitchers getting closer, I think is all a good thing. Joe Torre did it with some of his pitchers when he first came to the Mets, and you know, you'd have guys like Mike Scott. Hi, I'm Mike Scott. I throw a hard fastball 95, good slider. Hi, I'm Scott Holman. I throw a little sinker and a curveball. Well, there's one pitcher, I won't say his name because I don't want to embarrass him. He came on, they asked him what he threw. He said, I have 8 different fastballs. So that's when the meeting ended.
8, huh?
Yeah.
Did he name them?
Yeah, he said it sounded a little bit like the character in Forrest Gump when he's talking about the shrimp. We can barbecue, we can broil it, all that stuff. Cut it, slice it, sink it.
I thought you were going to say like Luke LaLoosh.
That's right.
Did he have a long career?
No.
How did I know that?
G throwing a ton of pitches here in the 6th inning. 3-2 on Montero. And he threw him a changeup. He checks his swing, and he stopped it in time for ball 4. So back-to-back walks on 3-2 pitches to Kubel and Montero.
I thought he swung the bat here.
I did too.
Young third base umpire Chris Conroy said no, and so the tying runs are on. Meanwhile, as Dan Worthen visits the mound, we'll go to the studio. Chris Carlin is there with the New York State Smokers Quit Line game break. Kyle Kendrick and the Phillies out in front of that game. Meanwhile, Keith, you were wondering about Mark Reynolds. He had his first home run of the year tonight in Boston. That game is 3-3 in the 5th. So he's one up on Pujols.
Boy, Baltimore's playing nice, aren't they?
They sure are.
16-9. They're getting very good pitching.
Who was the guy that pitched the other night against the Yankees?
Jake Arrieta.
Oh my goodness, what a breaking ball he had.
Here's Paul Goldschmidt, and he hits a line drive to short, and Tejada has no other play. That's the first out of the inning.
I think Dillon got in a little bit of trouble, getting a little bit. He felt so good in such a good rhythm. He walked his first 2 hitters on changeups 3-2. I think he got a little bit too cute. Thought he can kind of trick them.
Excess trickeration.
And yes, yeah, very good. Oh, there's Bronco.
That was Nagurski.
So Zagurski will get back up with the Diamondbacks moving down toward the bottom of the batting order. Tying runs on base with 1 out. Cody Ransom responsible for the 2 Diamondback runs tonight. A 2-run homer in the 2nd. His 3rd of the year. And a first pitch slider off the plate for ball 1. There are your city probables for the next 2 games. Pat Corbin makes his 2nd big league start. Battle of lefties against Johan Santana. Still looking for that first win. And then Sunday afternoon, Trevor Cahill faces off with R.A. Dickey. Ball to strike to Ransom. Ransom last time up got nicked by a pitch.
Also, the first at bat hit the only blemish in G's performance thus far, and that was a first pitch you saw from G. Hit the 2-run home run on a fastball.
That changeup misses. 2-1. So G pushing toward 100 pitches here in the 6th inning, and that's why Parnell is up in the bullpen. That's needed a day off yesterday to rest that bullpen. It was so heavily used the last couple of days in Houston.
The Arizona hitters are making G get his changeup up. They've focused in on his sinking change, and they're making him get it up. And he's not getting it up. He's keeping it out of the strike zone. He's falling behind the count. That's why he's been pitching behind.
Well, the 2 strikes to Ransom here, as you see Aaron Hill on deck, have just been really bad sliders that just have not broke.
Yep.
Stayed right in the middle of the plate.
So now it's 2-2 to Ransom, with G about to throw his 100th pitch of the night. Kubel at 2nd and Montero at 1st, neither one blessed with any speed. So look at tonight's AT&T trivia question. The oldest pitcher, we know the oldest pitcher to win a game, but who's the oldest pitcher to throw a perfect game?
I haven't the slightest notion.
Are there 21 of them?
21, including Don Larson.
Yep.
In the World Series.
You have no clue. You're not going to try?
Not even going to. Why even waste my time?
Swing and a miss, and G strikes out Ransom for the 2nd out. 5 strikeouts for Dylan G.
There's that outside target. Changeup. Good one. And that's a strike.
So after back-to-back walks, G has retired the next 2. Now he takes on the number 8 hitter Aaron Hill. who has singled to left and fly to center, 1 for 2.
You have to be careful with Hill. He's got some pop. He's not a normal 8th place hitter.
Came over in the trade from Toronto last year that sent Kelly Johnson to the Blue Jays.
Right after him.
Pitcher Miley out on deck. I'd be shocked if he came to bat here unless, Hill hits a 3-run homer in this spot. Ryan Roberts around the bat rack. Tatman, as they call him in Arizona. Zagurski ready in the bullpen. 0-1 to Aaron Hill. And the curveball over his head.
That almost got his coconut. That just missed him.
Pulled the ejector switch.
It's that same pitch that hit Ransom in his previous at bat, that curveball that doesn't break.
There's the home runs right there. Second baseman, Mr. Aaron Hill, right there, 4th place.
1-1 from G, and he misses low and away with a fastball as he pulled down on that, and it's 2-1. So starting to reach the end of the line here. Trying to rustle up enough energy for one more out. Lyle Overbay with a bat in his hands, left-hand hitter. He went 7 in his last start against the Rockies, 6 2/3 the start before that against the Giants. On 2-1, Hill fouls back the fastball, and it's 2-2.
Dillon's got a sneaky fastball because these hitters have been in hitters counts, and he's gone after him, and he's beaten them. He sneaks up on him.
Two out, 2 on, 2 balls, 2 strikes to Aaron Hill. And totally knocks it down to keep the runners put 3-2. So now they'll be in motion. Kubel at second, and Montero, who carries the tying run, will get the start at first, which could come into play heavily on a ball in the gap to try and get that tying run in.
No, we had that pitch predictor before. I wouldn't doubt that you'd see a 3-2 change up here to Mr. Hill.
Runners go, 3-2, and the fastball fouled back.
Well, he's running that fastball upstairs, high in the strike zone.
Well, we're going to use the pitch predictor on this next pitch based on the criteria we mapped out before.
31% of the time on a 3-2 count. The one problem you have here is that you might not want to throw the changeup because Hill is late on the fastball every single time. It'll speed up his bat if you throw a changeup for a strike.
G has already thrown 30 pitches in this inning.
Gee, I got to believe with Overbay and the probably with pinch hit, this would be his last man if he loses him.
Three-two. Strike 3 call. Got him looking at the fastball. Big pitch from Dylan G. He walked the first 2 hitters in the inning, and he struck out the last 2. Ransom and Hill go down. Hill looking to end the inning. It's 4-2 New York. Pepsi Max. Pepsi Max is giving you the chance to play ball with some of baseball's greats. Go to MLB.com/Pepsi Max to vote for your favorite legends and turn your field of dreams into a reality. Andres Torres leads off in the home 6th inning. Torres having a good night, 2 for 2. He doubled high off the wall in left center in the second, barely missed a home run. Then he drove in a run with a 3rd inning single. And Wade Miley behind him, 2-0. Torres, Tolle, and then the pitcher's spot. You have to figure Dylan G is done after 109 pitches and a lot of hard work in the top of this inning to get through it unscathed. And Torres pulls one down to third. A nice stop by Ransom, and he throws him out. So Ransom, who has not had an easy night, that time makes a nice play going to his right.
Again, playing even with the bag on the grass. Great range. For you New Yorkers, you probably know the name of Ransom, playing for the Yankees. He used to play a lot of third base, especially the years that Alex Rodriguez was hurt. Nice play.
So 1 out and nobody on. Now Josh Tolle. I mentioned earlier that the Mets are facing their 13th lefty starter in their 26th game. Or 12th lefty starter in their 26th game. So they'll face the 13th tomorrow in their 27th game. Last year, the Mets didn't face their 13th lefty starter until the 51st game. So it just gives you an idea just how much left-hand pitching they faced. And Justin Turner's out on deck to pinch hit. It just makes you wonder whether it's the luck of the draw as Tolle grounds one down to Goldschmidt for an easy out, or whether teams are starting to look to jigger their rotation a little bit to send their lefties against this heavily left-handed dominated Mets lineup.
Well, this is my feeling, Gary. Early in the year, you have a much better opportunity to juggle your pitchers because you have a lot more off days.
Vinny Rotino, rather than Justin Turner, is going to get the call here. Rotino just called up today from Buffalo. Will bat for Dylan G. Vinny had been playing left field every day down in Buffalo, and he brought up today to replace Chris Schwinden on the roster. And he was hitting .317 in Buffalo with a homer and 14 RBIs. And he takes up an away ball 1, and Rotino had a very good spring for the Mets.
He got caught in the numbers game, but you're right. One of the stars down there in spring training.
He's not a kid. He's 32 years old. Last played in the big leagues with Florida last year. Put in some time with the Brewers, his hometown team as well.
That's right. The Mets haven't had too many Wisconsin players in their history. I love in spring training, Kevin was asking him, doing an interview with Vinny, and Vinny was explaining why he signed with the Mets that gave him the best chance to get back in the big leagues. Well, Vinny was right.
Well, he, like Gary said, he had probably one of the better springs of anybody. Got a lot of playing time.
And he bangs that one off his knee. He says no call from the home plate umpire. Then finally Dan Bellino throws up his hands. The funny thing is Vinny started to run, which would make you think that it didn't hit his leg. But let's look.
They got him
right in the right knee.
Then why did he start to run?
It's a little amped up, you know. Another.
Well, he found out this morning when he woke up. He was told that he was coming to the big leagues. Came from Buffalo and now getting a chance to pinch hit. And he tries to hold, and he stopped it in time. Jerry Lane, the crew chief, with the call, and it's 2-2.
Oh, the catcher set up way high here. And that's perfect if you're going to try to get someone to go fish on a high fastball.
And now Rotino works the count to 3-2. Bobby Parnell getting ready to pitch in the 7th. Behind G. And Rotino whacks one foul. So G goes 6, allows 2 runs and 4 hits. He walked 3, hit a batter, and struck out 6. Sunday host Tiffany Simon sits down with Josh Tolle, find out how changes in his offseason routine helped improve his game, plus get an in-depth look at the new Mets bullpen on Mets Weekly, presented by WB Mason, Sunday at 6, only on SNY. 8th pitch coming to Rotino, and he grounds one weakly to second. Aaron Hill makes the play. 3 ground ball outs for Wade Miley in the 6th. On to the 7th we go with the Mets up 4-2 and heading to the pen. Is brought to you by AT&T. Rethink possible. And by State Farm. Today's State Farm agent of the game is Gil Walton of the Bronx. Contact Gil's office at gilwalton.net. Bobby Parnell comes in to pitch the 7th inning for New York.
Well, Bobby, his last 5 appearances has only given up a run in one of those appearances. He's been outstanding at that number. 15 punch-outs and only 2 walks in his 10 2/3. Very impressive.
Last pitched on Monday night in Houston, where he retired the only batter to face him. And the first batter to face him tonight will be Ryan Roberts, who will bat for Wade Miley, who pitched very well other than 1 bad inning. But right now that 4-run third has him behind in the game. Roberts has been struggling mightily. He's the regular third baseman for the Diamondbacks, but his playing time has diminished because he's hitting just 167. And he takes on the outside corner a strike. Roberts is a guy who languished in the minor leagues for a long time, but really blossomed last year.
Had some big hits in the playoffs.
And he hits one in the air to right field, and Duda spins, finds it, got it, 1 out. Well, the Diamondbacks last year lost a hard-fought National League Division Series to Milwaukee, losing the 5th game in extra innings. But look how far they had to come to get there. A 29-game improvement from the year before in winning the National League West title in Kirk Gibson's first full year as manager.
Manager of the year.
And we mentioned earlier, I just look at Brad Ziegler up in the bullpen for the Diamondbacks, is how bad they looked in April when they came here with a 3-game series against the Mets.
Shot out to right, another chance for Duda, and he picks off Bloomquist's line drive for the 2nd out. So 2 out and nobody on. And we mentioned at the outset, you know, you look at what a team like Arizona did last year, it kind of serves as an inspiration to the Mets.
That's right.
You know, last year 8 playoff teams, and 5 of them had payrolls of less than $100 million.
Extra playoff team this year, right? Or moving forward anyway.
Well, it would be 10 playoff teams this season. 11 teams have made the postseason after 3 consecutive seasons under 500. That's remarkable. I didn't realize that. So it can be done, and you know we've seen teams come out of nowhere the last couple of years to win World Series titles. The Giants 2 years ago, the Cardinals last year. Tim Burdick up in the Mets bullpen. We'll see whether the Diamondbacks can maintain what they established last year. It'd be hard to repeat 94 wins in what seems like a tougher NL West with the Dodgers so improved. And a bouncing ball to third. David Wright handles it. And it's a 5-pitch inning for Bobby Parnell. That's the way to do it. 7th inning stretch. Mets with a 4-2 lead. To you by your Mercedes-Benz Tri-State dealers. Visit them on the web at searchmercedes.com. Veteran right-hander Brad Ziegler takes over for the Diamondbacks in the 7th.
Came over from the A's last year. Appeared in 69 games between the A's and the Diamondbacks. 2.16 ERA last season.
Top of the batting order, Ruben Tejada leads off. Wade Miley went 6 innings, allowed 4 runs and 7 hits, walked 2, struck out 4, hit a batter, and he's on the hook in this game. Tejada 1 for 2 was hit by a pitch on a bounce his last time up. Take some of the steam off that way. Tejada, Murphy, and Wright trying to add to the Mets lead against the side armor, and Ziegler fires outside for ball 1. Ziegler, who went to Southwest Missouri State, where he was a college teammate of Ryan Howard. Slow ground ball, and Hill stays back on it. 1 away. So Murphy coming up. Let's check out the answer to our AT&T trivia question. Oldest pitcher to throw a perfect game.
Did Wilhelm throw a perfect game?
No. Randy Johnson.
Did you know that, Darren?
I did not know. I knew that Randy threw a perfect game because I've seen the spot.
That's right. When Ventura's trying, not Ventura, Verlander's trying to get in the club. That's a pretty good spot, by the way.
Daniel Murphy takes a strike. Murph doubled to right center and scored a run in the 3rd. He's 1 for 3 on the day. Randy Johnson, when he went to the Diamondbacks in 1998, gave instant legitimacy. 99, I should say. Through the hole and a base hit for Murphy. Diamondbacks began in 98, and Randy arrived, and all of a sudden, in their 2nd season, they were in the postseason.
Well, that World Series, you look at his numbers, when they beat the Yankees, it was just him and
Schilling.
And Schilling, and that was it. And then Batista was the unsung hero, Miguel.
How about 4 Cy Youngs in a row?
Randy Johnson is today's Field of Dreams legendary opponent. He's also a candidate on the Pepsi Max Field of Dreams roster. Be sure to visit MLB.com/Pepsi Max to enter for your chance to play ball with MLB legends. David Wright bounces one right near the bag at second. Hill is there, and Bloomquist with a turn, dug out by Goldschmidt. And for the second time in the last 3 innings, the Diamondbacks turn a 4-6-3 double play. To the 8th we go, 4-2 New York. As the series with the Diamondbacks continues, visit Mets.com or call 718-507-TIXX for your tickets now. Part of the batting order coming up for the Diamondbacks in the 8th. Bobby Parnell required just 5 pitches to get through a 1-2-3-7. He'll stay in to face Justin Upton to start the 8th. Tim Burdick then getting ready for the 2 lefties to follow, Kubel and Montero. John Roush up alongside. Upton 0 for 3 tonight, 2 strikeouts and a ground out against Dylan G, and he chose bunt with David Wright playing very deep at third. So that might have been a ruse as much as anything else. Upton, remember, was the bat boy for the great youth baseball team that David Wright played in the Norfolk, Virginia Beach area. Older brother BJ played with Brian Zimmerman and David Wright. What a group, huh? Pretty good bunch of 13 and 14-year-olds.
Weren't you guys mentioning in Colorado Michael Kadire? Was he on that team?
He's a little bit older.
He's a little older, yeah.
But from the same neck of the woods. And Justin takes it high, and it's 2-1. Well, Tim Hudson pitched very well in his first start back from back surgery. Not so good tonight. First inning at Coors Field. The Rockies got 5 against Hudson. 5-0 Colorado over Atlanta in the second. 2-1 to Upton, and the breaking ball misses away, and now Parnell behind 3-1. The Diamondbacks have managed just 4 hits tonight. One of them a 2-run homer by Cody Ransom in the second, and that's been all their offense. And Parnell challenges Upton, and he hits it right by Ike Davis. It's the last time he saw that. Ike just got the glove turned the wrong way and got eaten up.
Didn't get it down. He would look like he wasn't in a good position to field, but he got caught by surprise.
That's a backhand, right?
Yep. That wasn't good lateral movement.
Yeah.
It's an error on Ike Davis, and that'll bring the tying run to the plate. It'll also bring Tim Burdack into the game to face the left-hand hitting Jason Kubel. So Parnell departs. Call to the bullpen brought to you by Verizon Wireless. Mets protecting a 4-2 lead in the 8th with Burdack coming in. We'll be right back.
Was too cool for school, wasn't he?
Well, he didn't need to rush it, and he did.
Well, Tim Burdack, he had that outing, of course, in Colorado with that grand slam to Todd Helton, but after that, 2 scoreless appearances against the Astros.
1 inning plus for Bobby Parnell without allowing a hit or a walk. Well, Burdack, you'd have to say, despite the Helton slam, has probably been the Mets' most effective relief pitcher.
He's got 12 strikeouts to go along with those 8 innings.
That's amazing. Jason Kubel takes a slider for a strike. Kubel 0 for 2 and a walk. I mean, Burdack averaged well over a strikeout per inning last year, but he's even beyond that this season. And what makes it even more amazing is that he had knee surgery during spring training and came back in 2 weeks at age 38. Kubel is 0 for 2 in his career against Burdack. Another left-hand hitter, Miguel Montero, on deck. And Upton diving back to the bag. Nationals right up among the major league stolen. The Diamondbacks right up among the major league stolen base leaders as you look at the Time Warner Cable leaders. 2-1 to Kubel. There's Montero on deck.
It's an important pitch here for Burdack. Kubel, lefty-lefty matchup. He's still very tough. He stays in there.
3 home runs this year, and he fouls back that pitch, and it's 2-2. Kubel's hitting over 300 against lefties this year. Seems to me he wasn't always allowed to play against lefties when he was in Minnesota. Mike Zagorski's already pitched a complete game out in the bullpen.
Yeah.
2-2, and it's too high, and now Burdak's gone full to Kubel. A walk will put the tying runs on base. The bullpen phone gets a workout, doesn't it?
It does.
3-2, and that's inside ball 4. So Burdak comes in and walks Kubel, and now the tying runs are on base with nobody out. So a little more squirming in that Mets dugout.
That was a big error to open this inning. And if you had to have any criticism of the Mets bullpen, it's been their inability to throw strikes. Unusual high number of walks coming out of that pen.
They've even had 4 bases loaded walks this year. So here's Montero, who's in a position to be a game breaker, with Upton at second and Kubel at first and nobody out. Montero a single and a walk today. He's 1 for 2. And he lays off the breaking ball. It's ball 1. Montero 2 hits and 6 career at bats against Burdak.
Got a bunch your outfielders, especially Hairston and Torres, off the left-hander. Montero likes to shoot that left center field gap.
Interesting that David Wright's in at the corner.
High fastball by him, and it's 1-2.
I would move David back. Well, they're set up outside. Montero likes to just get something he can get pull.
Montero's generally very effective against lefties, but not so far this year. He's just 1 for 18 against left-handed pitching. 1-1 for Burdak, and he threw the slider. Got ahead 1-2.
Well, in his career, Montero has pretty much owned the Mets, but not last season. Only 1 hit, and that was a home run off G.
He's trying to hit a home run right there.
2 years before that, he hit .455 against Met pitching. Tony moves off the plate, and the 1-2 swung on and missed. He struck him out. Burdak gets him with a fastball, and that's the first out of the inning.
Threw it right by him, and that's going to be a night's work for Burdak.
So a walk and a strikeout for Tim Burdak, and now with the right-hand hitter Goldschmidt coming up, John Rauch will try and finish off this 8th inning. Mets with a 4-2 lead. The tying runs are on. We'll be right back to Citi Field. Roush in to try and clean up the mess here in the 8th inning.
See his numbers at 3 wins on the season for John.
Paul Goldschmidt, the batter, first pitch swinging, drives one to right center field. That's a base hit, and it's rolling all the way back to the wall. Upton scores. Kubel being waved around third base. Murphy's throw comes into third. It's a 2-run double for Paul Goldschmidt, and the Diamondbacks have tied the game at 4. Roush throws one pitch, and the 2 inherited runners both come around to tie up the game.
Well, walks will always come back to bite you. First ball hitting, hanging slider, and went right with it. Well, the back runner reads it perfectly, and he's going to score. Now, Tejada's got to tell Murph he's got to look. He's not looking to help him out.
Yeah.
His back's to the play. Tejada, when that throw is coming in, it's his job to look at the backside runner and then make a decision whether you got to play at the plate or not.
Now Cody Ransom takes off the plate for ball 1. Go ahead run now at second with 1 out. Well, Roush has now inherited 7 runners this year, and 4 of the 7 have come in to score. So a lot of the shine is coming off the early season success that Roush enjoyed, and this bullpen as a whole has really struggled. There's a call strike, and it's 1-1 to Ransom. Nets had very little money to invest this winter in talent. What money they had, they invested in trying to beef up the bullpen with Francisco and Roush. And for the first 2.5 weeks of the season, it looked like that had been money well spent. But it has certainly gone the other way over the last 2 or 3 weeks. And Ransom takes a strike, and it's 1-2. Nets will be making another move with their bullpen in a few days. They're going to move Miguel Batista into the rotation at least for 1 turn. He'll pitch Tuesday against the Phillies, and sometime before then the Mets will bring up another reliever. Might be a DJ Carrasco, might be a Josh Edgin, somebody of that ilk. Because right now it is a struggle for just about everybody out there. 1-2 in the dirt, and Tolley stops it. 2-2. Ransom hit a 2-run homer back in the 2nd inning for the first 2 Arizona runs. An error, a walk, and a 2-run double by Paul Goldschmidt have tied the game here in the 8th. First run of the inning unearned, charged to Parnell. Second run of the inning charged to Burdack. Two from Roush to Ransom, and the curveball in the dirt. Another block by Tolley, and it's 3-2. Well, you look at the overall numbers for the bullpen now after a month of the season, and it has not been pretty. 2nd worst earned run average in the league.
And again, we come back to it. This Arizona Diamondback, can't put your finger on how but they're scrappy. They just fight.
Now, as we move down toward the latter stages of this game, keep in mind the Diamondbacks closer has been struggling. Line drive center field, base hit. Around third comes Goldschmidt toward the plate. Torres' throw is cut off, and the Diamondbacks have taken the lead. Ransom gets back to first safely. Ransom's 3rd RBI of the night, and it's 5-4 Arizona.
I believe you get a hanger here. Yes, sir. Right down the middle. And he just covered it.
Well, 2 sliders in the middle of the plate from Roush, 1 to Goldschmidt and 1 to Ransom, and 3 runs later the Diamondbacks now have the lead.
Well, Ransom was thinking of going to second if that throw was over the head of Ike. It was not. Got back just in time. Nifty play by Murphy there coming behind him.
Now Aaron Hill, still only 1 out in the inning. Hill is 1 for 3, and he bloops 1 foul. Still nobody up in the Mets bullpen. Terry Collins had his relievers lined up the way he wanted in this inning. Parnell was left in to face Upton and was victimized by an Ike Davis error that has opened the door for this inning. He brought in the lefty Burdack to face Kubel, but Burdack walked Kubel, struck out Montero, but then Roush gave up the 2 hits to the right-hand batters, Goldschmidt and Ransom. And now Hill takes one just off the plate, 1-1. pitcher's spot is due up next, and Lyle Overbay has come out on deck to be a pinch hitter. And Ramon Ramirez just getting to work in the Mets bullpen. And Hill cracks one to center, but Torres has this one lined up, and that's the second out. So Ransom back to first, 2 away. And now the veteran Lyle Overbay will come up to pinch hit for the pitcher, Brad Ziegler, who worked a scoreless 7th and is now pitcher of record on the long side. The Diamondback closer is the former Met J.J. Putz, who had a fantastic year last year but has really struggled in the early going this year. David Hernandez is their setup man, and he is up now in the Diamondbacks bullpen, and he hasn't performed nearly as well as he did last year. So here's Overbay, and he takes up and away for ball 1.
And isn't that the hardest thing to judge, guys, is year to year what relievers are going to give you, what you can bank on. Very difficult.
The most fungible quality in the game. Relief pitching effectiveness. And, you know, just to circle back to Mariano Rivera, it is so rare to find a pitcher who year after year after year is able to perform at that level in the bullpen. It's the hardest thing to find in baseball. Ball to strike to Overbay.
In a game of failing is a big part of it. Mariano just about as automatic as anyone's ever been.
Last year, the Diamondbacks, en route to 94 wins, were 84-0 when they led after 8. That's how good Putz was last year. Lifted down the left field line, long run in for Hairston, and he's not going to get there, and then the ball bounces away from him into the stands, so it's a ground rule double. It's a ball that Hairston could have dived for, chose not to, and winds up giving up a double anyway.
Well, he pulls up here, and very fortunate because that gets over his head. That's another run.
Kind of just deflected that with his glove into the stands.
He's got to leave his feet for that, doesn't he?
Yeah, that's the play that you got to try to make. That's the time to take a chance.
So the Mets have not played good defense here in the 8th inning, in addition to a walk and 3 hits. So now runners at second and third with 2 out. The inning continues for Willie Bloomquist, who's 0 for 4. And he swings at the high fastball and misses, 0-1. Ransom now at third and Overbay at second. He gets credit for a double.
It's a huge at bat right here. Let me tell you, 2 out RBI right here. That's a huge cushion. These are your clutch at bats right here. Yeah.
Bloomquist has 2 hits and 3 career at bats against Rausch. In the air to right along the line and into the crowd, a foul ball.
That pitch is just not good enough on an 0-2 count. That ball is supposed to be up, about neck high. Instead, it's letters high. Lucky to get that back. You pitch to get ahead so you can expand the plate and not have to throw a strike. That's what Rausch needs here.
Well, Tolle has already blocked a couple in the dirt in this inning. Might be asked to do that again. On 0-2. Strike 3 as he went around, and Bloomquist is out to end the inning. But a rough inning for the Mets bullpen. It started out with the defense. Ike Davis unable to make connections. A leadoff error leads to a 2-run double by Goldschmidt to tie it, and Ransom's go-ahead hit. It's 5-4 Arizona in the middle of the 8th. Every Mets game on Sports Radio 66 WFAN. Fox has the reins tomorrow. We're back with you on SNY on Sunday. Let's go to Philadelphia Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, then 3 for the first time in the new ballpark in Miami before they come home to play the Brewers a week from Monday. Well, the Mets are down a run now as they bat in the bottom of the 8th against the new Arizona pitcher, David Hernandez. Lucas Duda leads off 1 for 3 on the night, and he takes on the inside corner a strike.
David Hernandez started his career in Baltimore, came over, had an outstanding year last year, got 11 saves for the Diamondbacks.
That 19 strikeouts in 12 innings so far this year.
He throws hard.
Ball and a strike to Duda. Frank Francisco hoping the Mets can rally here in the bottom of the 8th and get him a save chance. Duda banked one off the glove of the first baseman Goldschmidt for a base hit his last time up. Mets wasted a chance to expand the lead in that 5th inning. They had a couple of balls off infielders' gloves, ruled hits for Wright and Duda, but Harrison struck out. Davis grounded into a double play. And then the error by Davis opening the door in the top of the 8th to 3 Arizona runs. 2-2 now to Duda, with Hairston and Davis to follow. So Dylan G's chance for a win is out the window. Rough night for John Roush, who allowed 2 inherited runners to score and then was charged with one of his own. 2-2 from Hernandez, and a check swing. Did he go? Nope, stopped it in time. Chris Conroy with the call down at third, and a full count to Duda.
Good eye by Duda. Don't want to lead off walk. You got to think you can get a fastball here.
His umpire has been asked about 6 times for the check swing. All no.
(3-2), and Duda fouls it off. David Hernandez, a Hernandez from California.
Well, there's plenty of them.
Northern Cal.
Sacramento.
That's the valley. That's the breadbasket of California right there.
Breadbasket of Hernandez's?
Well, it's like Smith. It's a very common name.
He's right-handed, though. Again, the 3-2, and Duda gets jammed and fouls one off.
Hernandez not only throws hard, he's got some nice movement on this fastball.
Eighth pitch of the at-bat coming from Hernandez to Duda. And Lucas lays off. It's ball 4. And he'll go down to first, carrying the tying run. A good at bat for Duda. Fought off a very tough pitch on 3-2 to get another crack at it. So the tying run is on. Scott Hairston is coming up. And we're going to pinch runner now. Jordani Valdespin will run for Duda. Now, remember the Mets are carrying an extra bench player tonight. They called up Vinny Rotino, sent Chris Schwinden down, so they have a 6-man bench, which enables Terry Collins to get a little more latitude in making this move for a pinch runner.
I got to believe he's going to put the bunt on here.
I don't know how much Scott Hairston has bunted.
Well, you have your best fastball hitter against a fastball pitcher.
And they don't feel they're going to bunt. Look at the third baseman.
Yeah.
Hairston has 9 sacrifice bunts in his career. And he's up there willing. And Val tips it for strike 1.
Did you think anything else? Did you do anything else?
That's tough with the signs.
Hairston has 1 hit in 4 career at bats against Hernandez, and that 1 hit was a home run. With Davis on deck. There's now the bunt. He shows bunt.
Great job by the Diamondbacks. Had their pitcher Hernandez hold the ball as long as he could to see if Hairston would tip his hand. He did.
So many times a manager will give a hitter 1 strike.
Yeah.
To get 1 swing. If you don't get the swing, you don't make the contact, then put the bunt on.
Diamondbacks are still not buying it, with Ransom playing very deep at third.
Deeper.
This time Hairston gave nothing away.
Is there anything worse than being a pinch runner? It's like being a defensive player to come in late in games. All you can really do is make a mistake.
You've been there.
Well,
the pinch runner part, not the mistake.
I stayed close to the bag.
Valdespin stole 37 bases in the minors last year, but he was also caught 18 times. Not a particularly good percentage. And Hairston does attempt to bunt, misses it, and Montero almost threw it away. Goldschmidt picking it up on a hop. But now Hairston in a 2-strike hole. Looking like a guy who doesn't bunt often.
Valdespin almost got caught there. Nice play by Goldschmidt.
Oh, the guy's got to swing the bat now.
Well, he's going to get a slider, though. That's the problem.
0-2. Popped up. Goldschmidt in foul territory looking for it. And puts it away for the first out. So Hairston is retired after failing to get the bunt down. 1 out and 1 on with Ike Davis coming up. Ike has hit the ball on the ground 3 times in a row. Got credit for an RBI on a broken bat ground out in the 3rd. But he's now hitless in his last 10 at bats after showing some signs of life in Colorado. Davis's first look at David Hernandez. That's down by a run as they bat in the bottom of the 8th after the Diamondbacks scored 3 runs in the top of the inning. Valdespin the pinch runner. And Davis fouls back the slider.
Valdespin does something very interesting. He doesn't have his weight evenly distributed between his right and left leg. Really puts a lot more weight on that lead leg, the right leg, leaning towards second base.
Oh, and Davis gets all tied up.
That ball's free.
He missed that ball, and so down to second base. Now wait a second.
Well, he swung at the pitch and it hit him. It would have been a hit by a pitch if he didn't swing, but he swung the bat.
So it is simply a strike.
Dead ball.
Yep, dead ball. Anytime you're hit by a pitch, it's a dead ball, even if you do swing, and if you swing, it's a strike. And Terry Collins wants a clarification from the young home plate umpire Dan Bellino.
Nice call.
I think Terry, the only thing he can be arguing is that maybe the home plate umpire could have got some help on the swing, because he's the one that called the swing, although it's pretty obvious. Oh, Ike's trying to get some time.
Oh, that is a swing, and it did hit him.
Well, it certainly hit him, and Bellino was emphatic very quickly that Ike had swung the bat. So now Davis finds himself in a 2-strike hole.
It's the proper call.
Look, Ike trying to get time.
He didn't get it. He didn't get it, though. You know, you can't take your hand off the bat.
Now the 0-2. Swing and a miss. He struck him out with a fastball. So a very frustrating turn at bat for Ike Davis for the second out.
Just blew it by him, and Ike's getting back into that lunge mode again. Let's watch and see his body if it's floating forward. He's reaching. He's getting back into that habit again.
So now it's left Andres Torres, who has swung the bat well all night from the right side. Now he gets his first left-handed at bat of the night. Tying one at first with 2 out, and Hernandez misses high. Torres almost had his first Mets home run. Hit one high off the fence in left center for a double in the 2nd. Got one through the hole on the left side to drive in a run in the 3rd, and then was robbed of a hit by Ransom at third base in the 6th. Francisco and Ramirez stay busy in the Mets bullpen. And Torres takes a big cut at a fastball, and it's 1-1. Well, Torres, over the last 4 days since he rejoined the lineup, has had an RBI hit in every game. Mets could use an extra base hit from him here to try and chase Valdespin around with the tying run. And he goes after the high fastball, and it's 1-2.
This kid can bring it. What an arm.
There's no fooling you with Hernandez, huh? Right after you.
Oh, boy, I like what I'm seeing. You know what he's done real well, Ronnie, in this inning, too, is I tried to call timeout. He's really mixed up his holding at the belt.
Yeah.
He's held for a long time. He's kind of neutralized Valdespin over there.
If you're a reliever late in the game and you can't control the running game, you're not going to be effective.
Let's just keep everybody off base.
There you go.
Now the 1-2 to Torres.
Oh,
he takes that slider off the plate. 2-2.
Good eye right there. That's a tough one to lay off. He hasn't got one slider over in this inning. It's just been basically the cheddar.
Two-two. Hit hard through the hole. A base hit for Torres. Valdespin stops at second. And the Mets have the tying and go-ahead runs on base with 2 out. And Josh Thole coming up.
A nice 3-for-4 day by Torres here. Gets a fastball. And with the runner holding on that big hole there. Nicely done.
So the Mets have 9 hits. Torres has 3 of them. And Thole, who's had a rough night at the plate, will come up. Josh is 0 for 3 in this game. Struck out, flied out, and grounded out.
Remember, Kirk Gibson's team here a little vulnerable in the outfield. Josh is a good hitter going the opposite way. Jason Kubel in left field, not a lot of range.
And you can see in left field, playing him way opposite field, but straight away in center.
The Mets are not a speedy team, but they've got their best speed on base here as Baxter comes out on deck to pinch hit. Valdespin at second, Torres at first with 2 down. Big turn at bat for Thole. And Josh takes a letter high strike. Didn't think so. And stops to tell Dan Bellino about it.
Borderline strike high. He got the call.
Boy, that's a big pitch, isn't it?
It sure is.
To get that.
So Montero bring it down.
Oh.
And that's another borderline strike, and now Tolley's in a 2-strike hole.
That wasn't a strike there. That ball is inside.
So now Thole has to fight his way out of an 0-2 hole.
Oh, good cut, hanging slider. That's the one thing if I see at Hernandez, he hasn't got command of that breaking ball. It's a good one, but he can't pinpoint it, and that's sitting there hanging on a tee.
Hernandez has given up 2 home runs this year.
Well, when they've got ahead of Thole in his first few at bats, they've gone upstairs with the fastball.
Well, the Nats have tied it up, taking Strasburg off the hook. And Thole fights off another one. Valdespin, the pinch runner at second. He's carrying the tying run. Torres on at first. David Hernandez about to throw his 24th pitch of the inning. And Thole takes up and in, 1-2. Mike Baxter on deck. He'll pinch hit if Thole can keep the inning alive. Ramirez and Francisco both ready. Francisco if it's tied or if the Mets take the lead. Ramirez if they don't.
There goes Valdespin. The pitch is high and no throw by Montero. So Valdespin saw an opening, ran on his own, and picks up the stolen base.
Well, I don't recommend this. You got a hitter up there with 2 strikes and 1 and 2 off a very tough pitcher.
First major league stolen base for Jordani Valdespin. So now he could come home on a wild pitch. Torres did not follow him. He stays at first. And now time being asked for by the first base umpire Jerry Lane. Checking the count.
Yeah.
Should be 2-2 to Tolley.
Well, if one thing, it does force the first baseman to hold the runner on, open that hole.
Two from Hernandez, and Tolley tries to hold. Did he go? No.
Oh my goodness.
Chris Conroy's been very liberal on the check swings tonight, and he gives Tolley that one.
Nope, I don't think he went.
So now that'll get Torres in motion. Goldschmidt's going to play behind him to get a little fielding depth here against the left-hand hitter.
3-2 to Josh Tolley. And Josh swings and drives one to left, but Kubel moves over and makes the catch to end the inning. Tolley hit it hard the other way, but Kubel goes over to grab it and gets Hernandez through the bottom of the 8th. Your Home Depot doing more on defense. Jason Kubel picking off the drive by Tolley to keep the Diamondbacks in the lead. 5-4 as we go to the 9th at Citi Field. Sunday afternoon for the final game of the series between the Mets and the Diamondbacks. Ari Dickey goes against Trevor Cahill. 12:30 the coverage Sunday afternoon. Mets and Diamondbacks right here on SNY. Changes for the Mets as we go to the 9th. Kirk Neuenhuis comes in to play right field. He'll bat 9th. And the new pitcher, Ramon Ramirez, goes in the number 4 hole.
Well, Ramirez needs a good outing. Came off that trip like most of the relievers. Had a tough time of it. Tough outing in Colorado. Tough with his control in Houston.
Walked the first 2 batters he faced in Houston. The second one forcing in a run. Gerardo Parra leads off for the Diamondbacks in the 9th and grounds one through the hole for a base hit. So Parra has his first hit of the game. Hit number 7 for the Diamondbacks. Let's see what's coming up on WB Mason Post Game Live. Checking with the studio, Chris Carlin and Bobby Ojeda. Okay, now Justin Upton, who's 0 for 4 on the night. It was Upton who hit the ground ball down to Ike Davis. Davis got the glove turned the wrong way and went for an error to start that 3-run eighth. The former Met J.J. Puts up, getting ready for a save opportunity. Meanwhile, Ramon Ramirez trying to keep this a 1-run game in the ninth. Upton, then Kubel and Montero up to the Diamondbacks to try and get some insurance in. Upton 4 for 10 with a home run against Ramon Ramirez in his career.
Well, Ramirez got to be careful here because he likes his slider, he likes his changeup more than he likes his fastball, and Upton faced some dandy changeups from Dylan G all night.
The bullpen has already given up 3 runs, an unearned run charge to Parnell, and a run apiece charge to Burdack and Roush. And Upton swings and misses, 0-1.
Boy, Upton just looks like he can't cover that outside corner all night.
Jason Kubel waiting on deck. That was a nice running play he made on that last ball hit by Tolley. There goes the runner, and Upton fouls it back. So Parra was on the move and had a pretty good jump.
Upton took a pretty good swing at a hanging slider. You're right. Look at that jump. 1, 2, 3, 4.5 strides.
So Parra comes back, an 0-2 count to Upton. And Ramirez fires a fastball on the outside corner, strike 3 called, and Upton knew it. Looking for something else, got the fastball, and he's down looking.
Well, Ramirez has been so much in love with his changeup that he was looking for something off speed and he knew it is right, Gare. I'm glad to see Ramirez using his fastball a little more.
Maybe that'll give him more confidence now, punching out Upton on that one.
So 1 out and 1 on. Now Jason Kubel has walked his last 2 times up and then scored in the 8th inning. 0 for 2 on the night. In Detroit, 2-run walk-off home run by Johnny Peralta in the bottom of the ninth. Tigers beat the White Sox 5-4. Hit it off Matt Thornton. Pretty healthy lead for Parra. And so Ramirez checks in. Phillies and Nats have gone to the bottom of the ninth, 3-3.
What's this, 24-second timeout?
Take him out to dinner.
Take him out to dinner?
That's what we used to say when someone used to delay a game. Got dinner to talk it over.
Pitch out, but Parra's not going.
That's something we do not see Terry Collins do a lot.
Tolley again moves away. Parra not going, and the changeup is down. 2-0 now to Kubel. Another left-hand hitter, Miguel Montero, on deck. This is the problem with having only one lefty in your bullpen.
And it manifests itself in so many different ways. You know, you got to use a left-hander at one point. You had the lead. When do you bring him in?
There goes Parra, swung and dribbled out in front of the plate. Tolley's play is to first, and he gets Kubel for the second out as Parra takes second base. So now 2 out of the inning. Montero coming up. So do you walk Montero and go to the right-hand hitter Goldschmidt, or do you go after Montero here?
Well, you've got a case where Ramirez gets lefties out. He's got the change up.
Yeah.
I think he's going to give him 4.
Yeah.
There you go. There's your answer.
I think the other thing we forget about when you don't have 2 left-handers in your pen, in that instance, let's say you had a left-hander pitching to Kubel, it negates the running game, or at least stalls it a little bit when you have a left-hander holding the runner on.
That's why you have to think that when the Mets make a bullpen move next week, there's at least a chance they're going to go for a second lefty. So Montero will get on base for the 3rd time today with the intentional walk, and Paul Goldschmidt, who has the biggest hit in this game for Arizona, will get another chance to do some damage. Goldschmidt came up with 2 men aboard in the 8th inning. First pitch thrown by John Roush. He drilled into right center for a double that drove home the tying runs. Diamondbacks would add a run scoring hit by Cody Ransom in that 8th inning to go on top 5-4.
Well, if you're watching the game and you were Ramirez, you would have noticed that Roush got beat on a slider to Goldschmidt.
J.J. Putz all warmed up and ready to go, waiting for his save chance. 2 out and 2 on for Goldschmidt. And he pops it up into shallow right. Neuenhuis coming in to call. And Kirk puts it away to end the inning. So Ramirez pitches in and out of trouble in the top of the 9th. Now the Mets come up in the bottom of the 9th with Neuenhuis to lead off against Putz down by a run. Andres Torres with 3 hits. He's driven in a run. Scott Hairston had a 2-run double in the 3rd. Mets scored all 4 of their runs in that 3rd inning. And they had the lead until the 8th when the Diamondbacks took advantage of an opening and scored 3. And now the former Met J.J. Putz will try and close it for Arizona.
45 saves and 49 save opportunities last season. 156 saves in his career.
He was with the Mets in 2009 and did not pitch well at all. Of course, he was hurt. He had bone chips in his elbow, and that shortened his season. Kirk Neuenhuis, who came in the game in the double switch in the top of the inning, will get his first at bat of the night. Kirk hitting at .310 for the year. It'll be Neuenhuis, Tejada, and Murphy if anybody gets on. David Wright here in the last of the ninth. And Nieuwenhuis takes below the knees for ball 1. Putz last year gave up 4 home runs all season. He's already given up 3 this year, including a pair of walk-off home runs to Todd Helton and Ian Desmond. Last year, 45 of 49 in save opportunities. His velocity is down a little bit. His average fastball velocity last year was 93. This year, it's 91.8, so he's more than a mile an hour down. 1-1 to Nieuwenhuis. And Kirk takes a strike. Splitter from Putz, and it's 1-2.
Well, that's one of JJ's strengths, is that when he's going good, he can throw that split finger for a strike, and when he gets ahead of you, he can bounce it in the dirt.
Last year, they never lost when leading after 8. They've already lost twice this year. And Nieuwenhuis down on the splitter, and Putz has the first down in the last of the ninth.
Well, the first splitter was the one that hit. It was up in the strike zone. This one he's ahead in the count. He's seen it. The Nieuwenhuis is going to chase, and he certainly did.
So 1 out and nobody on. Now Ruben Tejada, who has singled and been hit by a pitch tonight, 1 for 3. Mets need to get somebody on to give David Wright a chance here in the bottom of the ninth. And Tejada fouls back the fastball, 0-1. Brad Ziegler is pitcher of record on the long side. He worked a scoreless 7th. David Hernandez tiptoed through trouble in the 8th. A walk, a single, a stolen base. He gave up a shot to Tolley with 2 out in that 8th inning, but to no avail for the Mets. And now the Mets trying to rally against Putz in the 9th. And Tejada strokes that fastball foul, and it's 0-2.
Velocity is nice tonight. Most of those fastballs in the 93 mile-an-hour range for Putz.
Tampa Bay wins again tonight. No Longoria, no problem.
They win every night, don't they?
It's 12 of their last 13. They beat Oakland 7-2.
Now they get that great starting pitching.
Yes, they do.
5 wins for David Price. 0-2, and it's fouled off. All fastballs to Tejada, with Daniel Murphy on deck. They've gone to the 10th in Washington. Phillies and Nats tied at 3. The Braves were down 5-0 early in Colorado. They rallied to tie. 5-5 in the 5th. Freddie Freeman a home run. Puts ahead on Tejada, 0-2. And Ruben bounces that one foul. First splitter he's seen from Putz. Again, the 0-2. And Tejada lays off the splitter. A ball and 2 strikes.
It's interesting at the developmental level, not a lot of the young pitchers are taught that split finger. I think there's some thought that takes away from their fastball at some point in their career.
Now it's 1-2 to Tejada. And he swings and misses at the splitter, so Putz with back-to-back strikeouts. Getting the young players, Nieuwenhuis and Tejada, to swing at the split in the dirt.
Well, I'll tell you what, he got ahead and he threw 2 pretty hard splitters. Tough to lay off.
So the Mets are down to their final out, and it's left to Daniel Murphy to try and keep them alive. Coming up tonight on Geico Sports Night after the post game, Amari gets his hand taped up and back at practice for the Knicks. Look at the Jets draft and the Rangers after 3 overtimes in game 3. Try to go up 3 games to 1 against the Caps. Geico Sports Night tonight after the postgame. Murphy 2 hits tonight, a single and a double. He's 2 for 4. And he takes that one just off the plate from Putz, 1-0. Murphy trying to get on and give David Wright a chance here in the bottom of the 9th. And Murphy takes up and away and puts all of a sudden behind 2-0. Wright is on deck and the pitcher's spot is behind him. Mets still have Mike Baxter left from the left side, Justin Turner from the right side, and Baxter there, helmet on and bat in hand.
Keith, Murphy without a home run this year. Is this one where you look middle plate in?
You can look. You have to look middle end here, and you just spit on the one on the outside corner.
And he drives one to center field. Parra going back toward the gap, dives, and he makes the catch, and the ball game is over. Gerardo Parra laying out to take an extra base hit away from Murphy, and the Diamondbacks hold on for a 1-run win.
What a play right there. And he got such a terrific jump. Just a matter of getting the jump. Once he's there, Major Leaguer makes that play. That is just a fine game-ending catch.
A disappointing loss for the Mets tonight. They had the lead. Diamondbacks took advantage of an error to score 3 runs in the 8th inning, and Putz hangs on for the save, and Arizona wins at 5-4.
And they've been struggling in 1-run games, but they come through this time. Dylan G with a great effort, and the bullpen just could not hold it.
Diamondbacks had lost 9 straight 1-run games before tonight, but Parra makes sure they don't lose this one. Diamondbacks win 5-4. We'll be right back.